Sisters and gentlemen,
Jeffries, Kickens of Virginia, McCarthy, Kildee, Jeffries, Kiley, McCarthy, Kilmer, Kim of California, McCarthy, Kim of New Jersey, Jeffries, Krishnamurthy, Jeffries, Custer, Jeffries, Kustoff, McCarthy, LaHood, McCarthy, LaLoida, McCarthy, LaMalfa, Lamborn, McCarthy, Landsman, Jeffries, Langworthy, McCarthy, Larson of Washington, Jeffries, Larson of Connecticut, Jeffries, Latta, McCarthy, LaTurner, Lawler, McCarthy, Lee of California,
Dear God,
Jeffries,
this
Lee
has
of
been
Florida,
going on for most
McCarthy,
of my natural life.
Lee of Nevada,
How much more of this can we all take? Sure, it's
Lee
funny.
of Nevada,
Sure, it's a
Lee of
joy watching
Pennsylvania,
these people play with
Jeffries,
themselves like they're a bunch of boberts in a bowling alley, but that's not important. The important thing is I
Fletcher
have been
Fernandez,
falling
Jeffries,
for 30 minutes.
Lesko,
My God, man. Can't we make up our mind?
Lesko,
70
Letlow,
and 17 years ago,
Letlow,
the first vote
Levin,
for Speaker of the
Jeffries,
118th Congress was cast.
Jeffries, Lofgren,
I, at that time,
Jeffries,
was just a babe
Loudermilk,
in swaddling clothes.
McCarthy,
But now,
Lucas, McCarthy,
it's-
Luke Kameyer,
I'm approaching
McCarthy,
the end of my natural life,
Luna,
and only through a series of
Luna,
stem cell treatments am I
Donalds,
able to even be here, to rise, to say
Luttrell,
Jeffries
McCarthy,
for the 212th
Jeffries,
time.
Mace,
Um,
McCarthy, Magaziner, Jeffries, Maliotakis.
Welcome. It's HAL SPARKS Mega Worldwide, and we're still at it. It's still happening. Hey, look, it's the asshole that brought up Donalds, even though he doesn't have any expectation that he'll actually make it. And look, they switched over to Hearn. For those of you that don't know, the Freedom Caucus, the Freedom Caucasols, have decided to bring up people that they can pat themselves on the back for nominating as if they're being fair or as if they're being, racially open or a big tent or something like that. And then, but they know full well this person will not, I repeat, will not get elected. They will not, they do not have the votes. So you can fucking say anybody at this point. We're only a couple of days from them each nominating themselves. The minute MTG recognizes herself for the vote, thinking, wait a minute, I've been voting for McCarthy this whole time, so maybe the McCarthy voters will come with me. And Lauren and I go way back to that bowling alley. Yeah. This is pretty spectacular. And it does Trump, did Trump get one? No, Trump got one. This is, it's been a joy. Hi, how many people in the chat room have been watching this shit all goddamn day? Or rotating in and out? I had to run an errand to go to the animal hospital and get some medication for the Fosters so that they can be in tip-top shape when they get broken. And I do mean broken. You don't fix something that works. See what I'm saying? And yeah. It's, how do you know? Like, half the time I'm like, are they just rerunning this? What the fuck am I watching? But no, it's the same thing. They're off to is it the 12th? Is it, where are we? Yeah. We're on the 11th. He's not going to win the 11th. There might be a 12th, or they might have a vote to adjourn. They might not have the votes to adjourn, which is hysterical. And basically, the breaking point now is getting McCarthy to step aside. That the only thing that breaks this impasse is if he himself withdraws and everybody else, and like anybody who isn't all in with the Freedom Caucasians, but is also, tepidly approved of by the majority, but they don't want him on a committee, which is part of what the whole thing about Kevin McCarthy is, like, make him speaker so he doesn't embarrass us in committee. It's that's what it's about. Trump is losing to other. Trump is coming in 5th. It's so good. I gotta say, it's so good. 4 Republicans have family emergencies tomorrow, have to ditch out, which means those are McCarthy votes they will lose. I don't think it's any of the troll caucus at all. So it's a party, it's a good time, it's a waste of time, it's big stupid, but here we all are, and everybody's flipping out, like Judge Janine and the 5. You know shit's bad when they're like, could AOC be right about who will be House Speaker? That's pretty rough. And then what do we have here? Hannity with Lauren Boebert. We got to look at that. Can we look at that? It's 10 minutes of joy. Let's see it. The hot seat. Fuck you. Nah, I got you in the hot seat. It's the thing where the seat is actually hot. It's hot. It's hot.
Hi, time now tonight for the Hannity hot seat.
It's a new thing. They're launching it now. It's hard to say. Hannity hot seat it's next level. Hannity hot seat. Yeah, do it a couple times. Good, sit there like a professional in front of a mirror and go, Hannity hot seat. Hannity hot seat. The Hannity hot seat. You know what? He probably did. And he came out and went, Haman.
Hi, time now tonight for the Hannity hot seat.
The Hanukkah hot seat. Hava, Nagila, Hava, Nagila, Hava. I need sand. Sand, you're standing on it. Where are you from? Ethiopia. What part? 125th Street.
And tonight we're joined by a Republican who opposed Kevin McCarthy's bid for Speaker on every single ballot. That is Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. And she says negotiations with McCarthy have been ongoing since the summer, but that her demands are not being taken seriously.
Gee, I don't know why you wouldn't take her seriously. Just because she looks like she's dressed to be a hostess on a New Year's Eve party at a strip club. Can I wear your jacket? I'm cold. Fuck you. I'll give you my jacket. Okay.
Now, meanwhile, Kevin McCarthy's camp is now reportedly trying to determine which of the 20 votes against him are because of a policy disagreement versus
him just being a douchebag. We're all douchebags. Why do you hate me?
a personal vendetta.
Because it's the Highlander of douchebags. There can be only one. Give or take 19.
Here now with reaction is Congresswoman Boebert.
Reaction.
Now, Congressman, let me. You tweet. Town Hall quoted you today, saying.
And the Hanukkah ham and Happasapseed, they town hall tweeted. Somebody's fucking with him by putting alliteration into the teleprompter again. And you go fuck yourself, San Diego.
The president, you said complimentary things about President Trump, needs to tell Kevin McCarthy that, sir, you do not have the vote.
They didn't tweet it, stupid. She said it on the floor.
It's time to withdraw. Let me turn the tables, Congresswoman. Kevin McCarthy has 203 votes. Your side has 20. So if I'm going to use your words and your methodology and your math, isn't it time for you to...
You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, we might try one more time. All right.
pack it in, and your side to pack it in, considering he...
Why don't you pack it in? Why don't you pack it in? How about fuck you? How about fuck you? I mean, that's what the negotiations have boiled down to at this point.
He has over 200, and you have 20?
Yeah, you have 20? She started with 3, motherfucker.
Sean, I understand the frustration. I promise you, but
I'm not frustrated.
He does
You didn't
not
answer
have the
my
votes,
question.
and we are hearing from many people.
She's answering the question. She's just starting off with, I know why people are frustrated, but she's getting to her answer. She's paying homage to you. And granted, it's her fault for assuming you have emotions. That's her bad. It's a mistake anyone can make.
People who are still voting with Kevin McCarthy, who are very supportive of what we're doing, and they're cheering us on. So there are more for us than are against us, and they are waiting for...
What? 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 Oh.
For Kevin to cave.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, the American people are
Congresswoman.
certainly frustrated by...
I'm frustrated by you not answering a direct question.
Boom! Answer my question. Why don't you quit? Why don't you quit? Why don't you quit? He's only got this many. Well, I've only got this many. Well, you need all of us. Well, you don't get all of us. Well, my number's growing. Oh, shit.
You said to President Trump, you said earlier today that President Trump needs to tell Kevin McCarthy,
does not have
you don't have the votes.
We need to come up with a
Can I
consensus
finish?
candidate to elect a
Can I
Speaker of
finish?
the House.
You don't have the votes, and it's time to...
By the way, what's this whole I have not watched this clip because people were talking about it. What's this bullshit about Hannity holding her feet to the fire and being all tough and blah, blah, blah? He's just bitching on behalf of Trump. This is just like, it's just a bunch of wang waving.
To withdraw. He has 203. Your side has 20. Why
201, stupid.
is it time for him to withdraw and not you when he has so
Well, you can't always get... All right.
many more votes?
Well, Sean, he needs 218, and he does not have 218. We've been trying
Neither
to work
do
this
you.
out in private.
Yeah. So you don't have 218. What about you? Huh? Maybe fuck you then. I just have to say this is beautiful, and it warms the cockles of my heart.
Private, as you said, for months. But Kevin McCarthy didn't even want to listen to us until his...
He didn't even want to listen because, like Sean Hannity, he thought there was going to be a red wave, dumb fuck. There was no red wave. The only reason he has to deal with you fuckers and listen to you at all is because all of you fucked up. That's why. That's the no. He was going to blow you guys off because he was going to have 20 more votes than he even fucking needed. And now he's got it like, shit. The Democrats had a robot come over and geld McCarthy and wheel his balls over like a bomb disposal unit to the Freedom Caucus and went, you guys can have these until further notice.
His disappointing midterms. We all want a unified party, but this isn't chaos.
No, you don't all want a unified party. He wanted enough people to have won so he didn't have to listen to your dumb ass.
It's a functioning constitutional republic. When everything is said and done,
okay, I like the cliche.
House Republicans will be...
I like the cliche. Oh no, is Sean turning on the bumper sticker language of the Republican Party after all this time?
stronger and better prepared to lead than we ever have before. I believe
he is kind of a goober, though. I'm not siding with her, but he's a goober. Dude's a goober. Total goober. Like, just not even, I don't know what, it's like they made his face, with like a computer where everybody was like throwing in traits they hate. It's like everybody was using like an AI that creates a person. And you're like, smarmy, kind of oily, kind of aloof, and above everything, but with low self-esteem, gooberish, tall, so he thinks everybody has to listen. You're like, it's like the list goes on and on.
This is what our founding fathers intended, and this is showing.
Yeah. Dummy, okay? I'm doing what? Did you even watch Hamilton?
Yesterday you voted.
Our votes are working. Our votes aren't just a cast.
Congresswoman, I'd ask you not to filibuster. Yesterday.
Hey, dumb fuck. You do realize what she wants from this dude is the ability for her and her 20/5/3 colleagues to be able to override anything he wants forever. They want to be speaker by proxy. So and by the way, that is how filibusters happen in the House. There's no filibuster per se in the House like there is in the Senate. So the only way you can do that is by being a prick on the Rules Committee that shuts everything down. It's what they want is they want these never Kevin, ever Trumpers to be on the Rules Committee so they can just cross their arms and say no to everything. And they know they're going to be kept off there because they will just say no to everything. They will slaughter the entire thing because they don't care. They're not interested in governing.
Today you voted and Jim Jordan was your choice. Today it was Byron Donalds who was your choice.
Are women too fickle for politics?
Tomorrow, I don't know who you're going to vote for. But the bottom line is you still only have 20 votes. Let me ask you this. Kevin McCarthy...
I think we're proving that we're open to a menu of options. Many different
you're
people
proving
can
that
be
20
speaker.
people
There's
don't
not
want
just
Kevin
one
McCarthy
man.
at this time. But my question to you is
We
this.
are proving that there are many options.
My question to you is, did you support...
By the way, again, this is not Sean Hannity holding Lauren Boebert's feet to the fire. This is two assholes who are like both Trump suck-ups arguing. That's all this is.
For Kevin McCarthy's commitments to America, and do you not believe that he's going to follow through on his written promises?
Yeah. Are you calling him a liar? Like in front of everyone? Lauren, in the middle of the dance, when a spotlight is on him, as a slow song is playing, how dare you? How dare you?
His commitment to America is not as strong as I would like it to be, and we have been working on...
Ooh, does she mean the weird PR stunt that he did in terms of a document, or just in general? Sorry, I have enjoyed this a little too much.
The rules to change the structure of how Washington, D.C. is run and operated.
Yes, all we want is the White House to be moved where the Capitol is and the Capitol to be moved where the White House is. And we don't want any buildings to have any kind of metal detectors, and we want free ammo. And
Sean, you know more than anybody how
that's not that statement isn't true about anything.
broken this town is. This is something that we have an opportunity.
Yeah, you know more than anyone, Sean. You helped break it, okay? The candidates you helped elect have fucked this place up, myself included.
Opportunity to rebuild, to restructure, and it
Congresswoman,
takes the right
he
tools
talked
and
about
the right leadership to
They're so mad.
do that.
border security, energy independence, debt reduction,
And when
earmarks.
we asked him to put forward the
Earmarks, freedom, immigrants, jobs, numbers, inflation. He wrote them on paper. Why are you not supporting?
Texas-built border plan, he refused.
Well, he's willing to bring back the exact plan that worked under Donald Trump. And then he also has pledged investigation.
What plan? COVID? Kevin McCarthy has signed off on bringing back COVID lockdowns because they were fantastic for the border.
Into the FBI and DOJ, the influence peddling of the Biden family, the
Biden family,
origins of
which don't exist.
COVID, and Anthony Fauci.
I'm pretty sure the origins of Anthony Fauci are his parents, Robert and Magdalena Fauci. I'm kidding. I don't know what their first names are, but I'm pretty sure that was his origin. I don't think he was bit by a radioactive spider in a lab, though. I call bullshit on that.
Troll from Afghanistan.
My question is, right speaker.
Do you support?
And it's not going to be Kevin McCarthy.
Do you support all of those agenda items?
By the way, how is this not her holding Sean Hannity's feet to the fire? She's just like, that's it. See this line? Fuck you.
He promised.
Of course I do, but I do not trust Kevin McCarthy at this point to deliver.
By the way, I also have a question. When do you have to get your Sarah Palin disguise back to Party City? Because I think, right, you didn't buy it. It's a rental.
On those promises, especially when I go into good faith negotiations with him, and then he comes out and lies about what those conversations were, saying that members demanded
okay, that's your characterization. He's not here to answer.
He's not here to answer. So I'm going to take his word for it and call you a liar to your face.
So let me ask you this.
He's already apologized to one
others,
member in private because he won't apologize to him in public.
How are we supposed to know that?
For spreading lies about that meeting.
Here's my question. So you and others fought hard for a motion to vacate, with only 5 Republicans able to trigger that motion.
Yeah, there's 20 of you all day, every day.
Kevin McCarthy didn't want to give it to you, but he did give it to you in the end. To me,
well, and she still didn't vote for him? That's just, she's just ungrateful. He gave it to her in the end, and some people, was it his technique or?
That's kind of an insurance policy. Can I finish?
But he didn't all the way. He did
Wait
not.
a minute.
He didn't all the way. It was just the tip. I'm sorry. This is just getting dumb.
Sure.
I'm in double entendre hell. This whole thing is so stupid.
He gave you what you asked for.
I'm done. I'm gonna. What you asked for?
Didn't all the way. He did
Wait
not.
a minute.
Sure.
He gave you what you asked for.
What you asked for. He gave you what you asked for, and he didn't all the way. We have too much to cover. I can't lose it tonight. He run that by me again.
But he did give it to you in the end.
Sorry.
To me, that's kind of an insurance policy. Can I finish?
But he didn't all the way. He did.
Wait a minute.
Sure.
He gave you what you asked for.
Oh my God! They're trying to kill me. They're trying. What the fuck? Let me give you a tip.
And one of the things that I've been asking people, I'm asking you tonight, who is your final choice for Speaker? And if you can't get more than, let's say, 30 votes, will you follow your own advice that you were asking Donald Trump and withdraw?
There are certainly names that are being floated around. And hey, maybe I should nominate President Donald J. Trump tomorrow. But Sean, I did watch your show last night.
No, he lost. He lost. He's losing right now. Let's see. We're live right now. Trump is in 5th place still. Yeah. He shut it off right as I was coming in. This is just a dick move. Donald Trump's in 5th. I mean, largely because, let's be honest, because he's a meme candidate, so.
Game show, like we're going to pick
on this motion.
We're going to pick Jim Jordan
Listen,
one day. Donald's
Look, it's not, Sean, it's not a game show just because Trump was a game show host. And a failed one at that. I mean, who cares that the entire premise of The Apprentice and The Celebrity Apprentice is that it's hilarious that anyone is taking advice from Donald Trump? Who cares that ultimately that was the punchline of the entire premise of the show? Who cares that he ran for president just to save his flagging game show career and ended up fucking up his life even worse? We've got bigger fish to fry in the end. Your ass.
The other day, Trump the next day?
This motion to vacate, because he did not give us this motion to vacate. I'm showing there's a whole consensus of other candidates.
But I'm trying to understand how you're thinking
this motion
here.
to vacate, Sean.
You're assuming that this requires thinking, stupid.
You need to understand that Kevin McCarthy did.
No, you need to understand. No, fuck you. No, fuck you.
Not give us my hard red line.
He fought for it.
He didn't give you your hard red line? He crossed your red line, did he?
It's a centuries. No, he did not.
No, I know that he made the promise.
That was written by Thomas Jefferson.
I know he made the promise
since
because
1837 with 5 members, Sean, with 5 members, not
That's
one
right,
member
5.
to offer the motion to vacate.
So my question is this:
Nancy Pelosi's
you haven't
precedence.
answered my question. So if you have,
you cannot demand more responsibility.
Yesterday you supported.
And have less accountability. You cannot demand more responsibility and have less accountability. Yeah, you can, because if you, at a certain point, if you have a lot of responsibility, you can't give that responsibility away, that ability to respond away, to random fuckheads who just want to hear their gripes aired.
Jordan, today you're supporting Donald.
That's not the.
By the way, this is going very well. I want you to say that this is, like, please, can we all enjoy? This is what winning looks like. Everybody, give it up for the winners. These are the people. You don't know. You don't fucking know, do you? Look, what do you know about this? Is what. Okay.
The way this works, we need a check and a balance on the third in line.
Who
to
is
the
your
presidency.
Let's have a final answer.
Ding, 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 ding.
Who do you want to be Speaker of the House?
For the conference to decide. We need to come together.
Who do you want? I'm asking who you want.
What does it look like, life after Kevin? We need to find somebody who can actually unify the Republican Party. I have offered plenty of names. Let some other folks start offering other alternatives.
There are 203 people, and you have 20. I respect the 20 of you. I respect all of you. But I'm asking you, based on your own words,
you as well.
Who is your final? Let's have a.
See, look at that. We had a kumbaya moment. Maybe she should nominate herself tomorrow. You know what? I think just to make things better, she should nominate Sean Hannity tomorrow. She probably will.
Final answer. Who do you want? Who will you only support to be Speaker? It's not that hard.
I am willing to
anyone but Kevin.
Have conversations with the Republican conference to come up with a consensus candidate. We are offering people right now. It doesn't have to be a member of the Freedom Caucus. It doesn't even have to be a solid conservative. But we have to have.
It doesn't have to be a solid conservative. Hakeem Jeffries has won every vote so far. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, in a democracy, the dude, I mean, it's. Here, you want to hear something funny? May I, if I could? And you guys should listen into this too. How funny would it be if someone in the conference suggests ranked choice voting for Speaker, and someone puts Sarah Palin in, follow me on this, as a candidate, and she wins in the third round by accident.
Half the Freedom Caucus supports McCarthy. So you don't even have a name.
Because
and we're now going into day 3.
Are afraid when you are threatened by committee chairmen to not be placed by.
Oh God, whatever. You were threatened. Shut up, Lauren. You were not threatened. Okay, it was a joke. Okay. look, just because we said, you know, I know the pipe bomber personally and she knows your address, allegedly.
Steering mitter.
I was kidding, okay? But if you hear something ticking, run. I'm just saying, don't. If you didn't order a package, don't pick it up.
Let me ask a final question.
Can you kick my ass?
If your final
candidate
candidate
on a committee, and then Kevin McCarthy affirms that, that's a scary place to be. We are here to legislate. We are here to get the country back on track. And
I could tell.
when you have people making threats,
Ow! Oh, and they were so close. They were just the tip away. And then he's got to get smarmy, and he vaped all during the next segment, didn't he?
like that, it's difficult to make that decision. But we are going to get there. I am fine doing this. We're in day 2. It's okay. The government isn't spending money, sending it to Ukraine. So
Yes, it is. It's like that budget's already been signed off on. It's already a law, and everybody who's there is getting paid. Who is already, I guess, the incumbents are getting paid still, but the new ones aren't. So any freshman Congress people aren't getting paid yet, but they'll get back pay. It's not. This is not them refusing to raise the debt ceiling. She said this a couple of times on a couple of shows. This is just factually wrong. It's just like that's. I mean, she says a lot of dumb shit. That's one thing, but this is just baseline. Not true.
the American taxpayers are certainly winning.
There's
but,
politically, Congresswoman, you and I agree on most things. We don't
Yeah, most of us. Yeah, we both agree that while Trump's balls are orange, they don't taste orangey.
disagree on many
Yes, we
things.
do, Sean.
And
Correct.
I do have respect
And I
for you,
believe
but
that history will show
however,
that I'm on the right side of this, Sean.
well, you can believe you're in your position, but I'm using your words. You said to President Trump, you said we're very clear. He doesn't have 218, so you need to ask him to withdraw. If by Friday you and your group of 20 don't have a name with 30 votes, is it time for you to withdraw? And if not, why do you support a double standard? Last question.
Kevin McCarthy does not have 218 votes. Kevin McCarthy
And you
will
would-
not
and
be
you have
Speaker.
20.
And by the way, this is a lame trick that Sean Hannity is. I think this might be why people think he was holding her feet to the fire or something. But the point is, McCarthy doesn't have 218 votes. There may be others that could get there. No one is being allowed to be moved forward from the other side, from the McCarthy-esque side, that they might vote for. So he's the one that's just butting his head up against it. In theory, if these fuckers would ever vote for any other consensus candidate, that's a question, and that's maybe what he was trying to bring up before. But ultimately, there's definitely another Republican in the House, probably a relative unknown, that could get 218 votes. It ain't Kevin McCarthy, though, because these guys are not having it. They're so dug in because now their ego's in it. Now this is like one of those situations where like a couple is in an argument and both sides realize they were mistaken on the premise of the argument, but they keep arguing because they morally and emotionally own the outcome.
Kevin
I asked you a very specific question. If by Friday
when we
you don't
get
have
this right,
30,
I will not, Sean. I will not withdraw. Our asks were not petty of Kevin.
Look, he's hitting the desk. Fuck. You don't understand. I'm an alpha male, and you're a woman. Do what you're told.
McCarthy, they were not self-serving. We simply were asking for commitments on what the
Yeah, and you didn't ask for anything for MTG, you witch.
American people want to see. They want to see a vote on term limits, a vote on the Texas border plan to secure the southern border. And for
Congresswoman,
crying
with
out
all due
loud, Sean,
respect.
we asked for a vote
Which is apparently none.
on a budget that actually
With all due
balances.
respect.
Imagine.
With all due respect, you're a fucking idiot, and I'm a millionaire. Can you please shut the fuck up and do what you're told?
Imagine a Congress that stops
So if
spending
you
money
only
that we
have
don't
30
have. We are
people
going to get
supporting
this right,
you-
and we are going to get the right speaker, Sean.
if you only have 30, to be clear, You will not withdraw.
30 is going to be a beautiful number
but you're
to
telling
reach.
Kevin McCarthy and the 203 people that support him to withdraw because they don't have 218. That's what you're saying.
Look, it's obvious by tonight's motion to adjourn that Kevin McCarthy and his supporters are already.
By the way, can we look, see what's happening? Doing it again. Still there. 12 others. Look at this. One present. Donald Trump, can I just say, Donald Trump has secured the exact same number of votes as here. If Donald Trump changed his name to Other, he'd be beating his own record right now. Oh, it's so good. All right, where are we? Let me go. Sorry, here we go.
Getting voter fatigue, and
I asked
I'm
you
here
a simple
for it.
question, Congresswoman. I feel like I'm getting a liberal.
I'm not going
an
to
answer
support
from a
Kevin
liberal.
McCarthy, Sean.
Not an answer from a liberal. Obviously, you don't mean Pete Buttigieg because he'd hand you your ass in an interview, but a liberal, I take that personally. As a liberal, and by the way, you know what? He might have a point because a liberal would go, fuck you, you can't tell me what to do in so many words as well. So basically, Hannity's trying to land on this. Anybody who doesn't, jump in line as a liberal or is liberal adjacent. I don't know.
Okay, so even if you only have 30 votes,
Kevin McCarthy,
you will not abide by what you told President Trump to abide by.
Which I don't believe I will be.
I feel like we've made progress.
You're what? I feel like we've made progress. How? You're exactly where you were at the beginning of the interview. Exactly. Literally, precisely where it started.
Look, I love President Trump. You're not going to turn me on him. You're not going to pit him against me.
Not trying to pit him against you. That's what you said to him.
And I am standing. I have seen the broken trust. I have seen the lack of accountability. Well, we are getting phone calls saying that we need to stop this. Kevin does not have the votes for Speaker. Period. We need to find a consensus candidate, get this right, and get our country back on track. Thanks so much, Sean.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey.
Just bailed the fuck out. Just, fuck it. Oh, fuck it. You're watching HAL, SPARKS, MEGAWORDLWIDE. We're just, we're enjoying this. They are on their, which vote are they on? Shit. Let's get all the way to the, Jeffries has hit 212. McCarthy's lost another vote. This is it. I think the vote is over. 12. No, that's the same number. No, wait. I can't remember if they ever hit 21 before. I don't think so. I think he lost one more vote. Because he was at 201, right? The rest of the time? And he can't even get the whoever voted present isn't even going to do it. And the person voting present is trying to help him by lowering the threshold like a dumbass. Look at Scalise. Just lurking and lurking and lurking. When is my time to strike? Is that Eric Cantor? I'm kidding. What's happening right now?
Sarah Ferris from Politico is reporting that a motion to adjourn until noon tomorrow is upcoming. Dems are whipping no on this motion to adjourn. Live coverage here on C-SPAN.
It's just so good. It's 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 so good. Baby, it's so good. I wanna say it again. All right. Shit. And it's so mad. They're so mad.
Welcome to Groundhog Day.
Wow. That's a reference I'm pretending to understand.
America. This
America.
Speaker stalemate on Capitol Hill showing no signs of stopping, and it's unclear who will blink first. Republicans are
well, it's unclear when Kevin McCarthy will blink, because these motherfuckers, you have to understand, the Freedom Caucus ran on being belligerent assholes. They have nowhere to go. their constituency, who they think is voting for them, voted for them to be just stop signs. They don't want anything to pass. They don't, like, in many ways, they are getting what they want about the Rules Committee, with the exception of, like, fucking committees to look into the Hunter Biden laptop myth. They are effectively doing it. They are stopping the votes. There's nothing going forward. Like, that's what they were hired to do. They're just speed bumps and roadblocks. And when they go back to their district, it's high fives everywhere. Hal, what do you think the Republicans should do? I think 8 Republicans should announce that if there cannot be a consensus with those folks, they are going to vote for Jeffries, whether they do it or not. Somebody might try to call their bluff, but it would blow up the Republican side, totally flatten the tires of the Freedom Caucus, and get them to bring it, like, get them in a room to, enter a name. That's the only way that's the cleanest way out of this. If they just said, there's 8 of us, and if you guys don't vote for McCarthy, we're voting for Hakeem Jeffries. Because fuck you, this is a mess. And we've talked, we sent our staff over there last night to talk to him and go, hey, balance the committees because we do have the majority. We'll be fair about some stuff. And if you got to guarantee us, a basement room to do the committee hearings for the Hunter Biden shit to shut these fuckers up and so they don't attack us. And that's that. What do you think? They could do it. It only takes 6. I know. That's why you need 8. So they can't peel them off. Yeah. Clear choices, Mike Pillow. Oh, yeah. By the way, if after all this, they put McCarthy in, and then Ronna McDaniels becomes RNC head again, just the MAGA brain explosions is going to look like Scanners the Musical.
Locked in a fierce battle over who should hold the gavel. The House taking a break until 8 p.m. after Kevin McCarthy lost his 6th vote for Speaker.
We're at 12 now.
Republicans backing him
We have doubled it since dipshit said this.
say enough with the nonsense. It's time to move forward so they can go after Joe Biden.
This 20's gotten together and decided that they can only block
21 now. It's growing. 3 got together, and then it became 5, and now it's 20, and then 21.
blackmail the Republican conference. In effect, they're blackmailing the American people.
There's headlines about the...
No, I'm good. Like, every day these fuckers aren't moving the ball down the court, I give a rat's ass. Like, my president just signed the budget for the next fucking 5 years. The omnibus will carry with a continuing resolution whether these motherfuckers want to have it happen or not. And the Senate can forward it that way, and a slim majority could get it passed, and there's not enough Republicans to shut that shit down on the floor. Sorry.
The chaos, this and that. Yesterday, our colleagues on the other side of the aisle were tweeting their bags of popcorn that they had out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're all carbo loading like a motherfucker.
They love it.
I plead with...
It's true, we do. He's right. I feel seen.
With all...
This is, by the way, this is the guy who voted for McCarthy, like nominated him, and then went, it's not going to do anything. And then he looks like the dude in, was it Grosse Point Blank, who like comes up to John Cusack and he's like, I'm going to show him my old face. Oh. Like, it doesn't he, I'm not, and he kind of looks like the RSBN hosts, the host that's fucking MTG, allegedly. He looks like he could be his brother.
All of my Republican colleagues, let cooler, more rational heads prevail.
I've had a number of conversations with Kevin.
What are you, nuts?
And just basically told him that at some point this needs to break loose. He either needs to make a deal.
Yeah, either he's got to get in there and break it up with a broom handle because he can flush all he wants, but it's just not going down.
Or he needs to step aside and give somebody else a chance to do that.
But the 20-plus Republicans who oppose Kevin McCarthy aren't giving up.
I think the path is very difficult right now for Kevin. At the core of this is, yes, we were successful in taking back the majority, but we still have to deal with the realities of governing here in Washington.
No, you have to deal with the realities of herding feral cats with diarrhea.
And a 1 day delay or a 2 day delay, even a 3 day delay does not.
Even a 5 day delay, even a 7 day delay. If we have to go to the next election, I think it's a matter of principle. I think he's buying it.
Stop us from being able to do the things that we were elected to do.
And the Democrats smell it.
What about the other Republicans that were elected to actually be conservatives or actually vote for things or any of that shit? No? No? That didn't fucking... Nope.
An opportunity. AOC thinks the Republican infighting could potentially open the door for her party to gain some extra power.
Is there anyone in their caucus that can build that consensus? If there isn't, McCarthy's team may have to come to the Democratic Party. And if that's the case, then...
By the way, she seeded this yesterday or day before yesterday. At this point, I've fucking forgotten. And this is what, like, Gates was like, did that happen? Like, he was cornering them. And he's been running around all day trying to head that off at the pass. So McCarthy doesn't try that. The problem is McCarthy... he might have some people making overtures, but the Democrats are going to want it in writing because they're not going to be Mitch McConnell in this situation. They're going to have to get basically a contract with America that they can go, yeah, he's agreed to these terms and we're both signing off on it as a coalition government, that kind of shit, to vote for him. Because without it, he'll just lie. And the other thing is here's the funny part. He's already given these motherfuckers the 5-person rule. I guess technically you can blow those rules off. But let's say he kept that 5-person rule to placate some of these. There's enough of them to tell him to fuck off. If he did make a deal with the Democrats to get this...
And what would that even look like? Could we get Democratic chairs of committees as a result? If he chooses to approach the Democratic caucus, then that would...
By the way, can we just enjoy the fact that, like, Jesse Waters is on the 5, just livid fucking right now? That not only is a woman having ideas, but good ideas at that, and it's just got to grind him to a fucking pulp.
Would be a negotiation in and of itself for potential coalition government.
Coalition government. There it is. There's the magic words. What'd I say?
Okay, Greg, I'll start with you on this.
Ha ha! You know the least about any of this, and are a slacker dweeb. You wrote some jokes. Get us out of this so we're not all just mad.
Political issue.
Well, first,
I haven't asked the question.
I don't need a question. I already have my strong feelings. This is not Groundhog Day at all. It's the opposite of Groundhog Day. Because in the movie, he actually got better. Remember Every Day?
Yeah,
This is the
No, there's a period where he doesn't, all the way up to when he commits suicide several times. You're not at that part in the fucking movie yet, dummy.
Opposite. He's not, no one's learning anything. It's anti-Groundhog Day. Poor Kevin McCarthy. He's lost more ballots than a Democratic poll worker.
I thought Democratic poll workers found ballots that didn't exist. I guess when it's a lie, it doesn't really have the consistency. What am I? I'm sorry. That was my fault.
So, sue me. Anyway, I'm starting to change my mind on this. I want it to go on forever. It's like an extra inning game that, like, when it's on, you go. This
is so fun. I have an idea. I'm just going to throw it out there and be like the alternative thinker in this situation. I want this. And by the way, so do I. So do I. Because I am certain that there is some emergency rule with a clerk of the court where they can gather a vote in the case of an emergency of any sort. They have to pass, hurricane funding or any of that kind of shit that can go, since there is no Speaker of the House, the Senate has purview to oversee the blah, 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 and until such time as they vote on, we will act as if, and the budgetary, but whatever. And they could totally pass shit. They totally could. I guarantee it. Like, yes, no one's sworn in or whatever. They do an emergency swearing in, and the clerk would just sit through it and whatever. Just the same thing we would do if they agreed on a speaker and then the person had a, went into a coma.
At the 22nd inning, you wanted to go to 27. You want to go to how long could this go? It's like a horrifying spectacle.
Sorry, I just froze that frame and realized how much he looked like a mogwai.
But it's also hypnotic, and everybody says, "Oh, you know, what is it? Democracy is messy." Oh, stop it! Everybody knows this is just a pain. But I love how the Democrats act like this is some kind of catastrophe.
No, we're not. I mean, they're speaking honestly about the actual function of government, but none of us are fucking panicking because, like I said, most of the necessary shit has been passed in the last 8 months.
Maybe, but it's self-contained, right? It's self.
No, it isn't. It's a third branch of the fucking federal government, stupid.
Contained.
Hi. Hold on one second. It's upstairs on the. Yeah, absolutely. Good Lord. I drove across town to get cat diarrhea medicine, and which was fine. I mean, it's a dangerous part of town. I was lucky to survive, but the rain was just the freeway here is messed up.
You made fun of me for not wanting to go across town.
I didn't mind that part, like the driving part of it, the normal distance of it.
Yeah,
it was
but
just that
Vegas
these.
is literally like the cone is our like state symbol, like
Right.
construction on every
Yeah, the
road.
construction I don't have a problem with either because I could just reroute, but the rain was making everybody stupid. There was hold on one second. I want to show Summer something. I took a picture so that you could see it when I was like I'm driving down there. I'll show you guys too. Give me 1 second. This was good. Hold on. Library. There we are. This guy. There you go. That guy. As I'm just getting on.
That happens there all the time.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
same spot. I don't know why.
Right.
I've seen like a dozen of those.
Yeah.
Like,
That was just today. There was a cop right there, and then it was all backed up until everybody got a good look at him, and then they.
How does that happen? It happens a lot.
I think he just spun out because.
But people end up like that all the time.
Well, I mean, it's Vegas, but by the way, what I'm trying to show her is this. See that? That's a truck that's just up the side of
That happens a lot
a
here.
bridge. Yeah. This is the first time I drove by that today on my way, just because of the rain.
But that's what I was saying.
Yeah, super funny. Yeah. And then where was there another one? No, that was okay. I was trying to take a picture of it through the rainy windshield and it wouldn't focus or whatever. And then I took this picture, but I didn't have time to send it.
Thank
So
you.
I was like, I got it. I got the medicine. I'm there. By the way, in case anybody didn't see it, but I love you. In case anybody didn't see this, I thought it was only right that somebody go on to Truth Social and tell Trump that he lost vote for speaker again for the 5th time. And he came in. He only got 2 votes.
Did they nominate him finally?
Oh, like 4 times.
I know people voted for him, but did they nominate? Was his name up there?
Yes, yeah. They finally put his name up.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He got. He's at 1. Was he at 1 last time we looked? Shit. There's. They're whipping votes to adjourn right now. Because the Democrats are whipping to say no, so they have to stay. Oh, it's so good. And 4 Congress people are out tomorrow with family emergencies, and I think they're all McCarthy voters. So. It's just good. It's just good. It's good. It's good. It's good. I mean, it's denying me the ability to do, like long form pieces on the Hunter Biden committee hearings and whatever the bullshit, because I'll get to do like John Paul McIsaac's public testimony and shit like that. But that can wait. I'm enjoying this too much. Yeah. Anyways, love you.
And you ate?
I did.
I'll feed myself.
Huh? Okay. Yeah. Okay. GOP locked in fierce battle for House Speaker. I just read that. Fierce battle amongst themselves. Stop acting like it involves
It's not affecting Americans.
Nah. Americans don't need a functioning government. This guy, John from Ohio, told me this. He calls in.
The way Afghanistan or the border or inflation. So at least, when Republicans have a firing squad, it's circular.
I guess, okay, that's a silver lining.
But the Democrats shoot everybody. So I...
I mean, where do we even start with the gun analogies in this one? Republicans are the pro-gun party, and it's hard to even wrap your fucking head around. Oh, Emperor of Uranus, thank you for 10. I pronounced it properly because, Water God, thank you, is too good. It's too good. Be pragmatic. Donated 9 inches of hair to Locks of Love today. Not hinting, though. Oh, thank you. Thanks very much.
I like that. I like that. And here's my last point. I have a
Wait, you've had a point? There were no points. I would just like to say, you're not taking crazy pills. He had no point. That was just gibberish.
theory that this is all being done because it's like they love to revert to being college kids pulling an all-nighter. So this.
Who's they, motherfucker? What do you mean, Matt Gaetz? Yeah, he likes to revert to college kids. Actual ones. Actually, I think he leans more towards high school.
This is just an excuse to order 50 pizzas and make us pay for it.
Oh.
First of all, apparently Kevin McCarthy held the pizzas hostage to only people who would vote for him. If you didn't vote for him, you didn't get pizza. Secondly, fuck you.
Well, that certainly explains it. Thank you, Greg.
That explains it. Thanks for wasting everybody's fucking time, you lush.
Dana, how long
Yeah, he knows.
do you think McCarthy's
Fill the time. There's a counter right over his head, right? When they can go, psst, wrap it up.
stays on? Look, he's been voted. He hasn't been able to get to 218 in 6 votes. Yeah. And Victoria Sparks now is voting present twice.
By the way, it's
in 6
Sparks.
votes.
Sparks, not Sparks.
Yeah. And Victoria Sparks now is voting
Sparks, not Sparks. Thank you. No relation.
Present twice. She says that she's doing that because she wants a discussion. So why do they just keep voting? Do they think that God's going to come down and say, everybody change your vote?
And he was...
Careful. Some of them probably do.
And she was quite close with Kevin McCarthy, and so that one's got to hurt. But I think, Ken Buck, you also heard him say, at some point, guys, we have to do something. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of...
It's good. Those big leadership rallying cries, the kind of stuff you'd hear at the Battle of Verdun, At some point, guys, we have to do something. My God. If you'll excuse me, I have to go get a tramp stamp with that on it.
Of democracy, it's been 2 days, and it could go for a few more, but it probably won't. I think today there was no...
Okay. She's obviously very comfortable. That's why she's hugging her mug.
No movement towards Kevin McCarthy. There was a slight movement back. So they're a little bit at a stalemate. So
Back? Away? A little bit out of stalemate? No.
I think the other thing that's happening is that the name calling is getting ratcheted up.
Yeah, and that's how you know Republicans are about to come together. That's how you know. When they really start calling each other very personal names, and the threats get personal, when MTG calls Boebert a skank, and Lauren Boebert calls MTG a whore, like that's like a different language. You and I wouldn't understand. But for Republicans, that's like, a bird mating song. Just saying.
Within the party.
I don't know what that was either. I just felt like moving for a minute because this is so stupid.
And they are going to get through this. There will be a speaker at some point, and then they're all going to...
Yeah, at some point. Yeah.
They have to work together. And they're saying a lot of things that are going to be very difficult to forget and hard to forget.
Gunplay couple. No, you're not wrong. Judge has gotten this work done.
Forgive. So I think there's only one solution that they should do tonight, which is...
Get drunk.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody needs to go to the bar. Mm-hmm. And it needs to be open bar, and they need to all get drunk and have a moment, because that's what you...
Yeah, because there are no angry drunks on the Republican side. And it's not like some of them are actually armed right now. It's a great plan, Dana. It's a great plan. But of course, she worked for the Republican that everybody wanted to have a beer with.
You do with a team when you're having a little bit of a problem. I'm not saying, look, actually, yes, I am saying, go get drunk. And just check the phones at the door. No one can take a phone in, and everyone just have a chance to talk about something. Trump, in his statement today, said, "Why are you giving up this opportunity to celebrate?"
Yeah, he said it just like that. Why are you giving up this opportunity to celebrate? It's exactly what he said.
You got back the majority, and you're blowing it, guys.
Right.
And I thought he had a good point. The last thing I wanted to mention is I feel like they're forgetting these lessons that happened during the Boehner and Paul Ryan years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is...
Or I would actually say, I don't think they forgot the lessons of those. I think they learned the wrong lesson.
If you don't give your team the votes, then whoever the speaker is going to be, and that might not be McCarthy, maybe it's somebody else, at that point, let's say it's the debt ceiling. If you don't have the votes of your team, then you're going to have to go get them somewhere else for like must-pass legislation. Where do you get them? Well,
Right. And if you put the 20 that voted against McCarthy on the Rules Committee, it won't matter because they will stop must-pass legislation from getting to the floor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what they're asking for.
From moderate Democrats. What does that do? That opens up the legislation to allow Democrats to change things to their will, which makes...
Right, because you need their votes, you have to listen to them. What a horrible idea.
The outliers even more mad, and then they can point to them and say, you're so establishment. It's not a good exercise. And the other thing is they're missing this opportunity. Today, what did Biden announce? Under the cover of all of this, his intention is to go to the border. After the Republicans have been saying he needed to go for 2 years. Now, who's going to talk about that in the morning? No one, because they're...
Uh-huh. He's going to have gone to the border to announce the funding from the omnibus bill and reinforcement of the infrastructure around it and a rise in Customs and Border Patrol funding that was in the omnibus bill. And it's all going to be on tape while these assholes are chewing each other's ankles.
We're going to talk about this.
Does Jesse,
or getting drunk.
Does McCarthy, is
there a point where,
in order to get 218 votes, does he try to build a coalition with moderate Democrats by turning to the Democrats? And if he does succeed, did a lot of people hurt their careers?
If he... Oh, yeah. Like, did this ruin Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert? No. One of them brought a gun on the floor of the fucking House and was tweeting the location of Nancy Pelosi during the insurrection, and the other one is still being investigated for sex trafficking. The fuck?
Cuts a deal with the Democrats, he's toast.
He's already toast.
Because then he has to give Democrats something.
What? In a democracy? Don't you understand? 218 gives us a massive mandate. The American people have spoken. They overwhelmingly want everything we want to just bulldoze everyone. That's why we have the Senate. Oh, that's why we have the White. Oh.
And you can never give Democrats anything.
All right. Well, big fan of democracy there, I guess.
Politics is tough. You get this close to power and your own team kicks you in the groin.
Yep.
No. That has not been Nancy Pelosi's experience. That has not been Hakeem Jeffries' experience.
6 times in the groin.
12. At one point, they've basically come to the decision that he's smooth in the front. Jesse Waters looks like Eric Bolling without the marzipan. I always thought he was Stretch Ben Shapiro, right? Somebody just took Ben Shapiro and went,
I hate this because I don't like talking about Republican infighting. I have a...
You like covering for it, though.
Personal policy not to get involved in Republican primary battles. So I say this under duress.
Well, can we just take a moment? You guys enjoy this. Jesse Waters is under duress, so just soak in it like palm olive.
But I feel like this is all my fault because I've been calling Kevin McCarthy speaker on primetime for about 3 months. I jinxed it. I don't know if he's dead yet, but he's close because I've never seen a situation where someone takes someone hostage and their main demand is, I want the hostage dead.
Yeah.
So the hostage.
Yeah, they don't. Hi, stupid. They don't have. They're not taking Kevin McCarthy hostage. They're taking the GOP control of the House hostage, or indeed the work of the people, if you want to get grandiose about it. It's not about Kevin past a certain point. That's the hostage. Their getaway car is these rules committee and 1 vote to vacate.
Hostage has to commit suicide.
Yep. It doesn't really serve the
I don't know how,
constituency.
if he survived, is someone.
By the way, in reference to Greg's earlier talking about Groundhog Day, a movie he obviously doesn't understand, there was a point in the movie where he can't take anymore, and he falls out of the clock tower, and he gets run over by a train, and he kills himself a bunch of different times, and then he's eating all this food at the next thing, and in the last, few days, I've been shot, burned, quartered, hung, disemboweled, and burned. Remember that?
What else gonna go? Some of me thinks this is personal, like Gates doesn't like him because
you guys hang. Ask him.
he didn't back him when the Department of Justice hung that case over his head.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Gee, I wonder why.
But then I listened to Chip Roy on Laura Ingraham last night, and Chip Roy said, this is what they don't want. They don't
All right, he'll be the dumbass whisperer for us, Jesse.
want every Christmas week to the Senate shove trillions of dollars of spending down their throats and say you have 24 hours to vote yes on this or Christmas is over. And so they want to be on the Rules Committee. So does he have to give these guys the Rules Committee, give the Freedoms the Rules Committee? Is that, what more do they want? I feel like he could give the Freedoms everything and they want his scalp instead. So I don't know. And Greg nailed it yesterday. I'm with Greg on this. Wake me up when they land the plane.
Yeah.
I don't care if it crashes. I don't care if it lands.
Yeah, because understand, Jesse, for all of his posturing, is as inserious about government as Greg is, and Greg knows fuck all about any of it.
Wake me up with something.
They don't care. Again, their job is emotional and social. It's just to like wind people up and get them to commercial, and then make sure they stay through the commercial. That's it. He doesn't know shit about how anything runs. And part of why they're frustrated, part of why Jesse is frustrated, and why Greg is really frustrated, and you can see it when they talk about it, like yesterday when he was like, why? The reason is because they don't want to know how anything works, because they don't think it should work. So when they have to find out, because they're supposed to be able to talk about it on the air under this pretense that they bring something to the table in the conversation, it's infuriating because they don't have the mental capacity to fathom it.
When they're ready to do something.
The founders were smart, though. He's like, let you guys sit in the room together. We're going to lock the door. You're not coming out until you guys decide. But I don't feel like I have to be in the smoke-filled room. Why do I have to feel like I'm in the room?
Because you're a broadcaster for one side. You don't. Take a vacation. Fuck off. You have nothing to add. Neither does Greg. You're both under contract to blather on behalf of the Republican Party. That's why. As a matter of fact, if you were in the smoke-filled room, Jesse's brain is so fucking porous and spongy that he would accidentally spill the beans. It's one of the reasons why he and Greg are never invited to, like, they go to the fucking parties at Mar-a-Lago or some shit, but they're not going to the bars in D.C. where legislators hang out and they're haranguing each other about something and that's going through the budgetary or oversight committees. Like, they can't. Oh, they adjourned? They did? They made it?
Back then, they really smelled bad.
Right, now I'm getting the stink on me.
Yes.
Okay. You know what? There's a tweet by Cori Bush. I want you to...
Uh-huh. Yeah, is this the one where she says that they only put Donald's in because it's racist cover, And they know he doesn't have the votes, so they can hide behind the fact that they nominated him and go, I'm not a racist. I wanted him to be speaker.
Take a look at it, Jessica. Two African Americans were suggested for speaker. On the Democrat side, Hakeem Jeffries, Republican Byron Donalds. And of course, Cori Bush comes out and she says it's not a historic candidate. Byron is not a historic candidate for speaker. He's a prop. Despite being black, he supports a policy agenda intent on upholding and perpetuating white supremacy. What do you think of that?
Not very.
Well, it's supposed to wind everyone up. The second part of it about despite being black, he supports a policy agenda and like whatever. He thinks he's a conservative and he thinks that's the way you help the black community is by, instilling conservative ideas in it. That's her take on it. The top part is absolutely fucking true. He is a prop because he will never have the votes to be speaker. He hasn't been around long enough. Nobody is going to get him to 218, not fucking ever. And so the fact that they brought him up for a vote is the callous, sort of using of him as a prop.
Very nice. I have talked a lot about people supporting policies that I do not think is in their best interest, whether it's women, people of color, other traditionally disadvantaged groups. Obviously, that doesn't help. And Cori Bush, I think, has really supplanted AOC as the biggest thorn in the Democrat side in all of this. AOC has really gotten in line. You notice even how she conducts herself in interviews, the people that she talks to. I've seen from the coverage.
Yeah, she is maturing. Cori Bush is not.
Of what's going on the floor. She's talking to more Republicans than almost any other Democratic member of the House, right? It's not going particularly far with Matt Gaetz or Paul Gosar, for instance.
Well, she's a little old for him, don't you think? I mean, honestly, and obviously she insists on, if she has a drink, maintaining control of it at all times. She was a bartender and she knows the deal.
But she's out there trying to figure out some way that Democrats can maintain.
But why would Cori Bush say that?
Because she thinks that.
Because she believes it.
He's an Uncle Tom. She thinks that if you're a black person who supports the Republican Party, that it strips away your blackness because Republican policies do not, in Cori Bush's mind, do not benefit people of color. That's what it is. It's a stunt right now. It's obviously incredibly unuseful. I'm sure Hakeem Jeffries is not happy about this conversation going on the side. He has a completely unified caucus, shows up every day, 212 votes, 212 votes, 212 votes. And then there's something like this that's a distraction to all of it. So it's not useful.
Okay. All right.
I went on Brian Kill.
Yeah, nailed it. Yeah, she's absolutely right. Yeah, but it is further than that as well. Because again, Cori Bush in that situation is half right. Because Byron Donalds, for whatever you think about him, even if she thinks he supports conservative ideas that don't help black people, he thinks that's what will help black people. He really does. I think he's wrong, but that's a matter of opinion. It's very different from him being the UT phrase, which I choose not to use for the record. But the part about him being a prop, absolutely 100% on the money, because they have no intent to actually get him anywhere near the votes. So they're using him as a human shield. And part of the reason why he serves them as a human shield is because of his skin color. They could do it for a little while, and then and the funny thing about it, somebody saying Donald has a shady background. So Byron Donalds was arrested for possession of weed and bribery. Weed with the intent to sell, like enough, not just personal use amounts or something like that, but weed with intent to sell and then bribery. Both of them were dropped and expunged, thanks to the policies of Democrats. That's right. Byron Donalds benefited, like he can run for office and all that shit because Democrats in his district and in his state pushed for laws that would expunge people's previous run-ins with the law at that low end, nonviolent run-ins with the law, to help him get rid of it. That's Democratic policies. Without those Democratic policies, he never could have even run in a primary as a Republican and gotten anywhere. So he owes his political career to Democratic legislation, quite frankly. So, hilarity and goofy bullshit. Also, if I may, let's see. Do we jump to this next one? Okay, yeah. It's not. Welcome. You're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide, right? By the way, we've all been watching the never-ending votes going on in the House of Representatives about Kevin McCarthy for Speaker, a role he was born to pray for and lose. And it's been a lot. We've watched the vote go away from him. Every time we've watched Hakeem Jeffries win 12 times. The only votes that have been taken in the last 3 days that Hakeem Jeffries hasn't won were motions to adjourn, where, I guess everybody comes out on top. So he kind of did win because he got to go home, or at least out to eat. And, but the one of the pivotal people in this is Scott Perry. Now, Scott Perry is all wrapped up in fucking Jan 6. More so, like, right up there with MTG and her sketchy activities the day before and around those days. Let's see, real quick. I'm going to bring something up. Yeah, here's, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, here you go. Liz Cheney. Scott Perry sought pardon for role in trying to overturn the 2020 election results. He knew he was engaged in illegal activity, and he wanted his ass covered. He contacted the White House in the weeks after January 6th, to seek presidential pardons for their roles in attempting to overturn the presidential election results. Rep. Scott Perry has refused to testify here. As you will see, Representative Perry contacted the White House in the weeks after Jan 6 to seek a presidential pardon. Multiple other Republican congressmen also sought presidential pardon for their roles in attempting to overturn the 2020 election. The new details surfaced during the panel's first public hearing. This was way back in June, whatever, July, June? June. And it's like he was central to it. This is not one of the, like just maybe Lone Boebert was like, the speaker's nearby, the speaker is nearby, Roger Wilco, over and out. He was behind the effort to lead up to the day and help execute it and carry it out on the day. So he's a special kind of asshole that's kind of operated, because he's not as loud normally as everybody else. It's kind of operated behind the scenes in this. Yeah. Here, I'll show you. Check this out. I think this is his statement. Yeah, GOP holdout cites trust issue. This is about his issues with McCarthy. And let's just hear his take.
We got to get right now to Pennsylvania Congressman-elect Scott Perry. He's the incoming.
Okay, this is just him. This is an interview. I have footage of him on the floor as well, I think, that we grabbed as well. But this is his, this dude is smarmy and creepy and traitorous as they come.
Freedom Caucus chair and one of the lawmakers leading the charge against McCarthy. He joins us now. Congressman-elect.
He said leaving the charge. It's a Freudian slip. He meant leading.
Thank you for hanging with us. Appreciate it. So here's what we understand from reporting what was talked about overnight here with McCarthy. Reported concessions to the House Freedom Caucus, one-member threshold on the motion to vacate the chair, 2 seats for the Freedom Caucus and the House Rules Committee and other committees, a vote at least on...
By the way, if you have one member of the Freedom Caucus of that group on the Rules Committee, they're just going to stop every bill. Budget, everything. There are no must passes. The must pass bills still have to go through the Rules Committee. They can stop them there. That's why. They want to override the Speaker's ability to bring a bill to the floor. That's why. And giving them seats on the Rules Committee with no recourse, because none of their constituents give a fuck if the whole country burns down. So if you do that, you just fuck yourself. There's no way. The Speaker has no more role. That person is the de facto shadow Speaker.
On term limits and standalone votes on 12 individual appropriations bills. Is there a deal done at this point, Congressman-elect?
Well, thanks for asking. First of all, there is no agreement whatsoever, and it's disappointing that that confidences are betrayed.
Well, that's not fair. He says there is no agreement whatsoever. There is agreement amongst 200 Republicans that you guys shouldn't get this shit. There's just no agreement between these two factions.
About the details of
and all Republicans agree you guys look like fucking clowns.
internal meetings, and it exemplifies Washington D.C. and the trust factor that is causing the impasse that is occurring right before your eyes.
Yes, he does not trust you guys. McCarthy does not trust that if he gives you those things, you will not misuse them. You are insurrectionists, you are psychopaths, and he also has been seeking power this entire time and doesn't want to hand it over to you fuckers to turn him into a marionette, because that's what they want. I don't know why they can't grasp that McCarthy and the other Republicans have no reason to trust the Freedom Caucus. None. Because there's no fucking way Chip Roy's going to play nice if you put him on the Rules Committee. He's just going to stop everything. And he knows it. He knows he's lying to get in the door. It's a home invasion. Hey, my car broke down. They don't trust that once you get inside, you're not going to blow the fucking place up and kill everybody. That's why. And they shouldn't, because you participated in Jan 6, and you would again if you could.
It's a trust issue with...
Yes, it is. You guys are untrustworthy. McCarthy may be untrustworthy because of strategy on your side of things. But these fuckers are untrustworthy on a national level.
The gentleman who wants to be Speaker, you can just reference his former boss, member of Congress, and what he says about Kevin McCarthy. It is hard to restore trust in just a month or two, and it's really hard when you betray confidences in a meeting where the details are then leaked out to the press. So there is no agreement.
But Scott Perry is admitting that the shit that McCarthy said about Gates and all that shit, that's true. And Lauren Boebert said it wasn't true and that McCarthy lied. But Perry's saying, no, he came out and leaked, because you can't leak a lie, as we often say.
At this time. But I will tell you this, we are looking for transformational change in the swamp and the uniparty in Washington.
The uniparty and the establishment. We've got to fight the deep state.
D.C. that doesn't work for the American people, that works for Washington, D.C. And we're not going to leave until we have that. We are here.
By the way, has anybody else noticed how much these fuckers on, the entire spread of the Republicans all come to the floor when they do make a speech, when they're nominating somebody or whatever? It is the greatest honor of my life to serve in this hallowed hall with the body doing the people's work. And then as soon as they step out, they're like, what a fucking dump. This place is evil. They don't do anything right. It's like, again, that level of duplicity should say something to you.
Here to fight for the American people. Everybody knows this town is broken. Everybody knows it.
No, it isn't. It reflects the populace, their varying differences in opinion and education and information and priority, and that's what life looks like. No. The Republican Party is broken because they bash themselves in the forehead with a mallet.
But no one wants to do anything about it. This is our opportunity, and we're going to take it.
The max vote that anybody else who's been nominated by your party has gotten 20. How do you expect to get to 218 with anybody else, and who is that?
Well, as I've said, I've never made this personal. I started negotiating in the summertime, so it's not about Kevin McCarthy or anybody else. It's about...
Well, tell Lauren Boebert.
Anybody that's willing to embrace these fundamental...
Yes, my thing is, it's not personal. I just want to be Speaker without being Speaker. That's what he's fucking talking about. Let's be abundantly clear. The noisy ones, Gates, Boebert, those fuckers, even Gosar to some degree, they are all playing at this like, we can build a collective little group and we can fight back against our own version of the establishment and blah, blah, blah. This motherfucker wants to be Speaker, and there is no way he ever gets anywhere near the votes, much less fucking nominated in any meaningful way. So the only chance he's got is to be shadow speaker. That's what's going on with Scott Perry, 100%. And he's creepy and dangerous and absolutely one of the architects around Jan 6.
Fundamental changes and give us the tools
Who
and
is
the
that?
personnel. It's whoever can get 218. If Kevin McCarthy will embrace these changes, I suspect he can get to 218. But if he will not,
if he embraces those changes, then he's not the speaker.
then he can't, and somebody else will have to.
No one who wants to be speaker will let you make them a marionette. And if they do, they're not the speaker. You're basically, I mean, you're going to have to fucking find somebody you can bribe or threaten.
Let me come back, if I could, Congressman-elect,
to planet Earth.
This idea of negotiations, compromises being made to the House Freedom Caucus. You say that there's no deal at this point, but is there?
No. I mean, it's not like they haven't been pretending to listen.
One in the works that could get him to either 218 or with some.
Did you see that? No.
Abstentions or voting present or whatever, get him to a number in which he becomes speaker.
So once again, it would be unfaithful of me to characterize any negotiations that may or may not be occurring, after going out and complaining about other folks that are doing it. So I'm just going to say there is no agreement at this time. You can see the votes are occurring, and we're asking for transformational change, not for ourselves, but for the people we came here to represent. And some of the things, go ahead.
But if I could, just as I asked Kellyanne Conway.
Also, motherfucker, you're in the House. You're one of like 435 fucking seats. The idea that, a small pocket of them, to some degree, like the Senate with 100 members, one person being able to Mr. Smith their way through it, has some, the ROI on it is questionable. But in the House, it's fucking worthless. It's just, basically these guys just want the ability to yank the chain anytime they want.
The posture of Kevin McCarthy going into the House today, in lieu of the negotiations that took place last night and again this morning, he said, I wouldn't read anything into the votes today. That was suggestive to me and to Kellyanne that there is something in the works here, and that what we're looking at right now is just pro forma, but in the days ahead, there could be a vote that gets him to the magic number.
Well, wouldn't you expect him to say that? I mean, this is politics. Of course he's going to put things in the best light, and he's going to spin it. You expect that. You have to be able to read.
By the way, you're a politician too, motherfucker. You took a job in Washington. You're not a fucking mayor. He's not a state legislator. He didn't go, you know what, I don't fucking like Washington, but I like helping the people and doing their business, so I'm running for fucking governor. No. That asshole took a job to get him out of town 60% of the year.
Through that and see what's actually occurring. Right now, he doesn't have 218. He didn't have it yesterday. And, chances are if nothing changes, he won't have it tomorrow.
Amid this process, you recently said Washington is broken. And we're clearly watching what appears to be a split party with no consensus on who your party is going to elect to be Speaker of the House. Do you worry the damage this is doing after flipping the House and obviously noting that this is putting the Republican agenda on delay?
Of course not. Excuse me, miss. This guy represents the kind of constituency that hates government. They hate it. That's why they elected him. Do you think they want a good shepherd? They want somebody to screw the pooch.
Taking a few days to change essentially what has gone wrong over the...
Look at him, by the way. Here he goes.
There's a deal in the works, and it's going to be done in a few days?
Well, I don't know, but what's taking place right now is taking a few days. So what I'm saying is, since this hasn't happened for 100 years, where we had a contested speaker's vote, if it takes a few days in that 100 years to get it right and to get Washington back on track, Washington has lost its way.
No, it really hasn't. I mean, you could argue that it did during the Trump years, but it's kind of moved back and functioned quite well.
You can tell just 13 days ago, yet again, $1.7 trillion bill sent in the middle of the night, Christmas Eve, 7,000 earmarks in it, Christmas tree up.
Right, and everyone in your fucking caucus and everyone in the House had gone through the committee hearings and the appropriations committee and all that shit, and each one of you had members on each of those panels, each of those budgetary committees that could go through, and if you had any fucking questions about it, you can go, what happened here? They'll walk you the fuck through it. If you give a shit, which they don't, because they don't care, because they want the government to fail.
America is tired of this. Their voices are not.
No, they're not. America clicks the terms of service on iTunes without batting a fucking eye. They don't go, God damn it. Every 3 months, I got to go through this whole fucking thing.
Being heard. So if you got to spend a couple days to get it right, it is worth it.
You're not getting it right, though, dumbass.
It.
You're just prolonging the obvious. Nobody. All right. If Kevin McCarthy gives in to these guys, there are more people on the other side who won't vote for him. If he gives them what they want, the other people are gone. He loses more votes on the other side than he gains kissing these guys' ass. If he gained all 21 by giving them everything they wanted, 60 other votes on the other side would just say nope. And then we're in round 2 of this shit.
So, Congressman, let me ask you, in terms of just where we're going here.
You're going, he in particular is going up his own ass.
The days ahead. The Democrats are obviously loving this process.
I feel seen.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez seemed to give some credence to Kat Kammick's
Alexandria, it's a female. Never mind.
Observation about alcohol, saying that if Democrats were doing shots every time that there was an unsuccessful vote, they'd be passed out by now. But Brad Sherman posited that if McCarthy becomes Speaker, he may have to make deals with Democrats because he won't be able to make them with the House Freedom Caucus. And I'm wondering
that's not
if
that's absolutely not true.
Yeah, it is. Because if he gains you guys, he loses other people. This asshole actually thinks the rest of the caucus, which is voting against him, thinks exactly the way he does.
We're always interested in working with Republicans, and we don't want our speaker to be working with Democrats. As long as the speaker...
He has to, though. That's his only choice, stupid. Well, that's not true. His other choice is to oversee the only, I guess, House session that accomplishes nothing and wrecks the U.S. economy and sets our forward momentum in technology and in infrastructure, all this stuff back 35 years. That's his other option.
Is true to what we believe in as Republicans across the board. We're going to be in fine shape. We just have to get this worked out and get.
Yeah, it's just a thing. We're just, it's about cross our T's, dot our I's. It's fine. It's just a little thing. It's just a, we're not moving and they're not moving, and they won't move and we won't move, and that's, it's just a little thing.
Get the tools in place, and again, sometimes with the personnel, to have transformative change so we don't keep ending up with the same thing. What we keep doing is the same thing with the same people under the same conditions and expecting a different outcome.
No. We want a democracy. We want a functioning democracy. Yeah, transformative. This is, dude, he's using this like some lefties say revolution. Revolution is the 6-minute abs of democracy. Fuck that. It takes work. It's boring. They call it the sausage making because they think it's gross. It's more like tinkering. Just like constant repairs. It's like you're always working on the tank to keep it rolling.
I don't know why we would keep doing that.
But if I could just finish the question that I had for you, Congressman-elect, if McCarthy...
Yeah, by the way, you're not a congressman yet. Just saying.
As Speaker, and I know this is a hypothetical, were to cut a deal with Democrats...
It's a hypothetical.
Instead of cutting one with the House Freedom Caucus, how would you react, particularly if there is a one-member threshold for a motion to vacate the chair?
Well, I think, quite honestly, forget how I would react. I bet the other Republicans in the room would not appreciate that very much either. No one appreciates being betrayed, not just the members of the Freedom Caucus. Any Republican would take that as an act of combat.
An act of combat. This is, by the way, this is the guy who was involved in January 6th. Fuck you, dude.
Congressman, can you just give us some idea? You just mentioned you've been working on this since last summer.
What do you mean by combat? You're like greased up like Greco-Roman, or are you talking like slingshot versus spear? What do you think?
Just give us some indication of the tone of the meetings with Kevin McCarthy.
Fuck you. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. That's basically
McCarthy, these ongoing negotiations and discussions and what that's like.
Well, in the summertime, he was disinterested, quite honestly. Even in the fall, he was disinterested.
Because he thought he was going to win a red wave and he didn't need you fuckers. And then you guys, because you're in safe districts, fucked it up.
Interested because he expected a 240-seat majority, this big red wave, and people and the views of people that he can dismiss are irrelevant. It was only because we had a slim majority.
It's only because Scott Perry and people like him almost made the Republicans lose the House, and will over the next couple of months. Stay tuned. That he had literally, there's an argument that they themselves sabotaged a lot of the Republican messaging in these kind of purplish districts just to guarantee themselves more power.
That he needed to come to the table. So none of these changes that are necessary, that everybody in the conference agrees with, by the way, they don't like the process, I get it. I don't love it either. But none of these changes would be on the table if the slim majority didn't exist. And so we have to take this opportunity to make the changes necessary to make.
Yeah, but you don't have a mandate. The Republicans don't have a major mandate because they've got a hair's breadth, control of the House. But certainly a minority of a hair's breadth mandate is not a power play. That's the ego part here. These motherfuckers think this is time to make their move. They're acting like there was a red wave. They're acting like they have more control, or like the red wave did happen because of them.
Make Congress work for the American people.
Okay.
All right, Congressman-elect Scott Perry, the Keystone State, thank you. We'll let you go vote. I assume you'll be voting for Byron Donalds.
I will be, thank you.
And by the way,
I will be, thank you, because I don't expect him, he doesn't have anywhere near the votes, so I can just say that, and it's wonderful. Then I can pat myself on the back and tell my constituents that I'm not racist after all, no matter what was found in my crawl space.
run back out to the camera if you feel the need to do so. We'll be here for a couple hours.
All right, God bless you.
All right, thanks for joining us.
I'm Steve Doocy.
Yes, you are. Holy shit. Just a fucking mess. By the way, let me see if I can find this. Yeah, here it is. This is, I think this is him on the floor, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, here you go. This is,
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I mean...
Oh, hold on. Wait, jump in here. Sorry, my bad. Clicking here.
From Pennsylvania, rise.
Madam Speaker, to nominate the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Donalds.
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you.
Now, pay close attention to this. First of all, he sucks at this.
Ladies and gentlemen, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, no matter what your political persuasion, one thing is universally recognized across this country. Washington is broken.
Is Washington broken? I think it's just your party. The rest of Washington just operates like a large organization that just has a lot of moving parts, and if you don't get what you want out of it, it's easy to find multiple reasons why it didn't actually happen instead of taking responsibility for it or better articulating your position. Like any giant organization, you could go to find a newspaper, and at any point you could find Amazon is fucked. Amazon is broken. Amazon, the stock went down, and then they had a problem with their truckers in one area, and they're losing a factory here. Blah, blah. You could look up enough stories and get this mental picture. If you curate what you're looking at, Amazon's fucked. Still didn't stop the box from ending up on your doorstep today.
Washington is completely broken. Whether it's a wide open border, millions
the border's not open.
Of people streaming across.
Millions of people are not streaming across. Title 42 is creating the illusion that there are more people because crossings are up, because people try and are sent back.
Terrorists, criminals, fentanyl coming right to your community. not at the border, but into your community. Overdoses happening in your towns, funerals happening in your town.
Funerals? In my town? Never.
Because the border's open, because this...
Because the border's open. Because the fentanyl is just flowing. Just and MS-13. And also brown people.
This place is broken.
Because D.C. is broken. Never mind the fact that, like, McCarthy, will more than likely bring some sort of, like, immigration bill to the floor along, because of pressure from the Senate and because it'll show up and Democrats are going to leverage that in the next few months. After Biden goes to the border, that's what they're going to be pushing, by the way, is comprehensive immigration reform. And these motherfuckers would get a good portion of what they pretend to want. But what they would lose is much greater, which is the ability to demonize the border as a source so that they can manipulate their voters.
12 days ago, in the middle of the night, 4,000 pages showed up over here.
No, they didn't. Those pages were just put in an order, but they've been around all year. Dumbass.
6.5 or 2.7 1.7. Sorry.
That's all right. You didn't read it. Doesn't matter.
1.7.
I knew it. You guys knew it. The chat room knew it. He knew it. She knew it. This guy didn't know it.
$7 trillion in spending, 7,200 earmarks, 24 hours time to read it.
No, you had all year. You had all year. You had all year.
Like a Christmas tree right before Christmas.
That makes no sense. A Christmas tree right before Christmas would be lovely. You wouldn't have to put it up and pop, there it is. Christmas tree right before. How much does he think Christmas trees cost? They're actually cheaper the closer you get to... never mind.
Nobody outside of this town wanted.
Nobody wanted a Christmas tree right before Christmas. We already got a Christmas tree. Fuck that. Who wants two Christmas... Oh, I have two Christmas trees. Never mind.
If you've been here for 1 year, you voted on that once. If you've been here for 3 years, you voted on the same thing 3 times. If you've been here for 10 years, you voted on it 10 times.
Yeah, because there's a new budget that needs to be put forward or a continuing resolution because... Has this guy ever been on like a board of directors at a corporation?
Washington is broken.
It's broken. It's broken. It's broken. I don't know if you know it's broken. You know what I mean? We shouldn't have to do this every year. If you've been coming here for 10 years, you've been doing the thing you need to do every year for 10 years. What the fuck is that?
We got crime.
So it's not broken.
Running across the streets.
Crime running across the streets? What, are they trying to get away from you? There's crime. Well, jaywalking is a crime. I mean, it's a minor one, but...
No matter what community you're in.
Well, as long as it crosses the streets when it sees me.
Because now this town has decided that somehow the criminals aren't understood. And we've abandoned the victims. This is what...
It's largely a state issue. Again, nothing that says this motherfucker couldn't have just stayed home. What? Here's a good idea. Run for DA, dumbass.
What people in our country are dealing with.
Mm-hmm. What else?
We are funding wars and...
Oh, here we go. Why is it frozen? What happened? What's going on? They didn't like it. Hold on. Got to reload the page. Pardon me.
For what purpose?
Read it like a Christmas tree right times. Washington is broken. Because now this town has decided that somehow the criminals aren't understood. And we've abandoned the victims. This is what people in our country are dealing with. We are funding wars and...
Froze again.
Own military because...
The countries,
while we're destroying our own military because this town is broken.
Destroying our own military? The military budget was $854 billion.
We have an administration that
I don't know why he's freezing up. Maybe God's just intervening so that we don't have to deal with his bullshit.
To persecute and prosecute them because this town using the instruments of federal power to persecute and prosecute them because this town is broken.
Well, prosecuting them is actually their job. Persecution is obviously a matter of opinion.
This place is
He's talking about the Jan Sixers.
literally broken. There hasn't been an amendment on the floor for 6 years in this town.
Gee, and so many bills passed, including ones that Trump signed like and all you did was clap.
So if you're not on the committee of jurisdiction, but it affects your citizens, well, too bad for you. You just vote yes or you just vote no. That's not how this place was designed to be.
Well, sure it was. If you don't like it, join the Senate.
We vote on bills that have all kinds of things that have nothing to do with the bill itself. Everybody came here because they said to their constituents, this town is broken.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't, stupid. And the ones that did were lying.
And I want to fix it.
No, they didn't.
Well, how are you going to fix it if you come to this town and just step right in line and keep doing the same things that everybody has done before you?
Well, you are joining a tradition that's almost 240 years old, fucko, and this country is humped along. Thank God you're here to save us from ourselves. Rep. Scott Perry. America. Oh, she was this close to just going away forever. Thank God. Here he is, our white knight.
It's not going to fix it.
Hans. Booby. I'm your white knight.
The American people know it. And I would say...
No, I disagree. I think this is hack bullshit.
Say this. I think the person that has done the most to make this fabulous, this wonderful Republican majority is Speaker Pelosi and her...
Fabulous. She's made it fabulous.
Her policies.
By the way, he's not supposed to name check her on the floor. That's against the rules. You're supposed to address the clerk or the presiding officer.
That's what has achieved this majority over here because the American people are sick and tired of it and they've had enough of it. Now, this is not about personalities.
Because you don't have one.
It's not about personalities.
I don't have a personality.
It's about the policies that come out of here. This is not about personalities on this side of the aisle or that side of the aisle. We believe, and we want to believe.
Yeah, that's what they're finally calling for order because he addressed her.
We believe, and we want to believe, that every person that comes here, left, right, center, has the best intentions for our country. The best intentions for our country.
Except Marge and Lauren and Matt and me and Gosar. I don't know what the fuck that fucking dude's.
And it's not about the personalities in this contest.
Yes, I agree. Kevin McCarthy does not have a personality. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's not a personality.
It is not.
It's like facial autopilot.
Personal for us.
It is for Lauren Boebert.
But because we all acknowledge and we all know that Washington is broken.
No, it isn't. Your party is broken. Fix your shit.
We must take a new path. There must be a new vision.
Yeah, that's right. You know what? We need success outside of government. Government's not the answer to everything. That's why I, Scott Perry, this very day, resign in protest, along with all of my friends in the Freedom Caucus. We've all decided to start a pineapple farm in the Bahamas.
So that Congress
at Sam Bankman-Fried's old place
works for the American people. Because the American people are watching what's happening here, and they've watched what's happened here, and they're sure in their hearts, and they can prove it, that this town works for this town.
Again. This is, you know what we're actually watching? Can I point out something? You know that Reagan shit about the 7 most frightening words is I'm from the government and I'm here to help. This is the natural extension of that shit. That used to be fucking cute. When he said it, it was kind of wink and a nod that there was, obviously Republicans at that time believed in the function of government and the power of government overall. So they just kind of, this was just like them bullshitting their own constituents. Now those constituents have grown up and that's who this fucker is. This guy was, fucking 17 or some shit, or 19 when Reagan said that. And now he's running for office on that nonsense. That's what this is. This is where it heads. This is one of the reasons why I don't ever let slide calls for violence, for example, on my show. Because all it takes is a toehold and then it grows into something tremendously fucked.
That's who this town is working for.
Again, the fuck are you talking about? Then what are you doing there? And by the way, what, one half of DC is doing it? The other half, which is Republican, you guys are trying your best. Every night you're Sisyphus. You're rolling that fucking rock of freedom up the hill, and it always rolls right back over you with AOC on top of it like a fucking unicycle.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are making history today.
Embarrassing. Pathetic history, but sure.
We are making history in this process. And we are showing the American people that this process works. Yeah, it's been about 100 years. It's been about 100 years since this has happened before. But we have said we're not going to take any more of Washington being broken. We're going to do something for the American people.
Yeah, this doesn't have anything to do with Washington, fucko. This is 100% their fight with Kevin McCarthy. This is not a fight with Washington. I don't know who the fuck you think you're shadow boxing with, but it's nobody but you. It's Luke Skywalker fighting with Darth Vader and seeing his own head in the mask.
And we're going to fix it. And is it going to be painful?
Except in a bad way, and reverse that. And it's like if Darth Vader was fighting Luke and he cut his head off and it rolled away and it was never mind.
And is it going to be difficult? Yeah, it probably is. That's why it took 100 years.
It didn't take 100 years. They worked. They had dysfunction, and they went, fuck that shit. That's not helpful to anybody. And they managed to keep it functioning until you assholes showed up.
It probably is. But we're going to do it. And we can also make history today by making the first...
Will the House be in order?
That's a good question.
Electing the first black Republican Speaker of the House. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, the Democrats applauding it because they know that this is inserious. This is fucking gross, by the way. He knows Byron Donalds does not have the votes. As a matter of fact, there are other black members of the House that might get closer, might get more votes, but they don't want him to get too full of himself. So they're picking the one that they can pick off the quickest. It's fucking gross.
Now, as my colleagues probably know,
Byron has no fucking shot.
First black members of Congress to serve in this body were Republicans.
Yes, before they switched over and joined the Dixiecrats.
Were Republicans. As a matter,
they left the Republican Party, and then the Dixiecrats came over and joined the Republican Party, which is the party he's in.
Matter of fact, you probably also know that Frederick Douglass, who went and worked with Abraham,
who's doing a lot of good work lately, I hear.
Abraham Lincoln to emancipate the people of color in this country, said he would
emancipate?
Never be anything but a Republican. Would never be anything but a Republican.
Yeah, but his choice at the time was like Southern slaveholder or Whig or some shit. It's like saying I'd never be a libertarian in the Old West.
I am here to nominate Byron Donalds because he has accomplished many things. He is a man of faith.
Mm-hmm.
He is a family man. He is a businessman, and he is a man of community service. He's come from the school of hard knocks. because not all outcomes in life are equal, but America is the place where we can each do great things regardless of our humble beginnings, each one of us. Now, Byron is a product of single family where it's not easy. It's not easy.
A single family? Is it? It's a product of a single family? He didn't have two families? Like the rest of us? He's the product of a triple family.
But he has succeeded in a...
I think he means a single mother or a single father or single parent household. A single family.
America.
He just had one family, just the one.
And that's a testament to what we have created here and what we're trying to save. He's got a record of accomplishing things. He has a record.
Yeah, he accomplished getting his weed and bribery arrest expunged using the policies and legislative successes of the Democratic Party to, oh, I shouldn't have brought that up.
Of being on the right side. He is respected, he is trusted, he is capable, and he achieves results.
And best of all, there's no way he's getting more than like 22 votes. Not happening.
Now, Byron has a big mind, and he's big in stature as well. He's very nice, but I will tell you this, in a negotiation...
Uh-oh.
In a negotiation with Chuck Schumer, I sure will want to be on the other side of Byron Donalds. He knows who he is, he knows what his foundation is, and he knows that Washington is broken, and what Chuck Schumer's...
And I bet Chuck Schumer's afraid of a big black guy. Fuck you, dude. Wouldn't you be scared if a black guy was yelling at you? I mean...
sends over here isn't going to work out for the American people. Ladies and gentlemen, Washington is broken.
Is it broken, though? Did you mention... Did he say Washington's broken yet? I missed it.
Byron Donalds...
is not broken, but he could be persuaded to be broken.
Will inspire us and restore our citizens' faith that this institution actually works for them.
By the way, Charlie Kirk was like, yeah, no, there's no fucking way Byron Donalds is ever going to be speaker. So they just folded the big tent up mid-circus. By the way, you're watching HAL, SPARKS, Mega Worldwide. Can there's some inside scoop on this. I don't know if I'll do this whole clip. I just want to see the beginning of this because the title made me laugh. Since I'll go a little bit late tonight because it's been a long day, believe me. So here we go.
Should mention that.
This, by the way, this is I spoke to Trump and he's getting annoyed. Dick Morris. I spoke to Trump and he's getting annoyed.
All right, some breaking news. We continue to monitor the voting that's going on. Some changes in this go-round, although the outcome for Kevin McCarthy, unfortunately, not going to be successful in the
in 4 more after this
8th vote for Speaker of the House. We have seen a change.
If he was annoyed at 8, imagine how he feels now.
Lauren Boebert voting for Kevin Hern of Oklahoma instead. We've seen Josh Brecheen, the congressman from Oklahoma, also voting in this case for McCarthy, going back.
So that was a big switch, right?
Yeah.
That was amazing. I felt so good, and then he lost one more. Fucking president.
One of those 20
his vote,
who
so that
voted
was
against.
good news. We thought maybe that was something that
was great. Big turning point there, where there was some contraction.
Was going his way, McCarthy's way in this go-round, but there's not going to be enough. There aren't going to be enough votes.
Yeah, it went that way, and then it went back that way.
Votes to change
and then it kept going that way. And then somebody was like, maybe? I'm like, no.
I'll come here.
Right. We're going to check in now with our senior White House correspondent, John Gizzi. John, what do you have for us?
John, tell us.
Team McCarthy.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. I'm looking. Am I on the wrong fucking page? Wait. Because that's the... Nope. That's the whole House. They're just talking over this.
He is excited.
I thought for a second... Honestly, I thought for a second they were, they're just not cutting to people.
And again, optimistic after a few votes have changed, albeit, as Bob pointed out, not enough. It should be noted that there will be a move, as Kilman
hype train. Thank you, guys.
Reported to adjourn or have a recess after this vote and then have a full conference meeting where everything can be ironed out.
Yeah, by the way, it was not ironed out. Still wrinkly and smelly and needed to be steamed, quite frankly.
It is true that the deal insisted on by the Club for Growth, that is, that McCarthy's own leadership pack not get involved in primaries, was agreed to, and what is reportedly remaining is the question of whether Freedom Caucus members can go on the Rules Committee, as they've insisted. Now, it should be pointed out that the Speaker...
Yeah, by the way, it was ultimately about money, that they want more money guaranteed to them from the from the PAC, from the Speaker's PAC, than they deserve.
Simply can't assign.
Level 1 hype train. By the way, thank you guys. I'm sorry I've been paying so much attention to this. You're watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. Please like, subscribe, give a thumbs up if you feel like it. Support the show if you can, and if you can't, relax, enjoy it, and thank the people who do, because we love them. And if it wasn't for our Patreons, we wouldn't be here.
Committee assignments. This has to be determined in meetings to be held after a Congress is sworn in. So the impasse
Get
is
to Dick
keeping
Morris.
the Freedom Caucus from reaching their goals in effect. One more thing, I talked within the last hour to Congressman John Mullinar of Michigan, who repeated what he said yesterday. All 202 members of Team McCarthy are staying with their man.
Good to know.
No, it turned out not to be the case. He lost 2.
Thank you very much. Let's bring in now Dick Morris to join the conversation as we continue to monitor.
Yes. Again, the 8th vote, and we're also going to bring in host, did we say Dick Morris? Yes, Dick Morris, host of Dick Morris Democracy, and of course,
and Doug Collins, former
Georgia
Congressman
Doug
from.
Collins.
And Doug, as somebody who has cast your vote for Speaker before, your thoughts on how this is unfolding, and the 8th vote for Speaker that, again, Kevin McCarthy will not win.
Well, I think the problem is now, as I think was said earlier, this is becoming not just policy but personal as well. And you still got
so
5
personal.
out there who said they will never, ever, never, ever vote for Kevin McCarthy. I'm not sure how you overcome that. And that would then mean you'd have to start having people vote present. You'd have to start playing with the numbers a little bit. That's going to be different.
Hold on. Did they ever get to these motherfuckers, or they just play the video and just talk over it like radio? Oh, I can't, like, the only good part of looking at, Dick Morris whine about shit is if you see him scouring. And by the way, I would like to thank Bruce Kulick and his lovely wife Lisa for inviting me to roast him on New Year's, and he just sent me a text with some pictures from the evening, and I look forward to watching them later. And when that pops up on I have to say, I'm fanboying just a little bit because of 80s teen HAL never mind. It's just cool. Okay, I'm gonna jump to another one because I want to show you something. This is another one of those Trump videos. So Trump, who by the way came in 4th and then 5th and then got dropped entirely and then came back and won 5th again in the speakership. He's got this is remember he was microblogging for a little while and then he got Truth Social and he blathers there now. He thinks he's just tweeting into a paper bag. He's now posting these videos, and this is where he declares war on the cartels, where he basically has watched Clear and Present Danger, the Jack Ryan Harrison Ford movie, where the president decides to bomb a cartel. Remember that? And learned the absolute wrong lesson from it. And by the way, there's a bunch of macho right-wing dickheads who love this idea, and they're all jumping in.
Fentanyl, heroin, meth, and other.
All things my son Don Jr. tells me taste like cherry cough syrup and make you feel like $1 million. But don't forget,
The lethal drugs are pouring across our wide open border.
Fuck, I'm tired. This is the 9th time we've done this video, and it still feels weird. Can we just take out the conjunctions and you guys can have somebody dub it like a Steven Seagal movie?
Stealing hundreds of thousands of beautiful American lives. And
a couple of skanky ones, let's be honest. I gotta say, most of them, I wouldn't hang out with them, but level
it's happening
5 hype train,
like never before in our history.
Well, yeah, because fentanyl's relatively new. I mean, there were opium dens. You want to go back to then? I mean, like, you used to be able to buy cocaine at a pharmacy.
Children are
Maybe that's the problem.
being left without parents.
His spray tan looks terrible, actually. Look at the line right by the ear. So he got the spray tan, and then he got a haircut, and they dialed it back.
Families are being ripped apart.
Yes, I don't know if you know this, but if you take fentanyl, it makes your whole body explode.
Communities are being decimated.
And I think decimated and ripped apart are different things. I'm fairly certain, but I don't know.
Neighbors and fellow citizens are having their entire worlds destroyed. Destroyed like nobody thought possible.
Like, no, I mean, when you think of the word destroyed, you think you know what it means. But you don't. Okay? Think of destroyed. Picture it. And then go, that's this much of it. It's way worse. It's like Portland. Rip Portland. Gone forever. Just a crater. Some people think it was destroyed. It was absolutely, totally, bigly destroyed. Just like everything else.
Our country is being poisoned from within by the drugs and by all of the other crime that's taking place.
Poison from within? I thought it was coming across the border. I thought that would be poison from without. Never mind. I'm sorry. I know I'm nitpicking. You know, I'm mopping the deck of the Titanic, aren't I?
The drug cartels are waging war in America.
Oh, that was a cut. Look at that. He does this. America. He had a hard time saying America, and then they had to do a cut.
Our country is being poisoned from within by the drugs and by all of the other crime that's taking place. The drug cartels.
All of it, even the shoplifting, like little minor things, is that tearing us apart? Did somebody pass a bad check and it wrecks the entire country? Is that how it
are waging war in America, and it's now time for America to wage war on the cartels.
Yeah, so here it comes. I'm not at all scared that, I mean, I've got Secret Service, but I don't know if they can hold back MS-13. If these guys want my balls, they'll end up in my belly. I fell asleep. Oh, 2 Show Live, thank you so much for the gifted subs. Bless you guys for the support today. Thank you guys so much.
In this war, Joe Biden has sided against the United States and
yes, Joe Biden is siding with the cartels. That's why he got his own son in rehab and why so much fentanyl is being caught coming across the border. More than was caught crossing the border when the 100,000 people died of it for the first time, mostly during your presidency.
With the cartels, they are making more money than they've ever made before.
And he knows because they share the same accountant.
Times 10.
Oh, all right. Yeah, wow. So you're jealous.
There's never been anything like it.
Never anything. I mean, and it's so annoying because they sit there at Mar-a-Lago and they count their money in front of me, and I don't even understand Spanish, but I understand rich. Let me tell you.
Major companies. They're bigger than even some of our biggest companies.
They're the Amazon of the Amazon. I think technically some of these drugs come from that area. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Don. He's the expert. He keeps going on these hunting trips and then coming back with a bloody nose.
Biden's open border policies,
which don't exist,
are a deadly betrayal of our nation. When I am president, it will be the policy.
You were president, fucko.
Policy of the United States to take down the cartels, just as we took down ISIS and the ISIS caliphate, and just as, unlike the situation we're in today, we had a very, very strong border, the strongest border, in fact, in the history of our country.
Not really. I mean, we had COVID, so it wasn't really a strong border. It's just nobody wanted to come here because we had more cases than Mexico. Technically, the strongest border, I think, as far as people passing or being kicked out, was during Obama. So, but, I mean, math.
And drugs were at a low of 4.
Yes, like you should see, Don was scrounging everywhere. You think Hunter was smoking Parmesan. Honestly, how many times I had to stop Don from smoking the condiments at the omelet bar in Mar-a-Lago. I was like, either you're doing a lot of blow or you've been snorting my ketchup. And what am I going to chuck at the wall?
45 years. There's been nothing like what we did just 2 years ago.
Yeah, like you mean like Hoover towns?
We will show no mercy on the cartels. Every day, drug trafficking.
We'll give them what for?
Traffickers are using the waters of our region to ship their lethal poisons to America, killing.
The waters of our region? The what? The waters of our... So it's the Mississippi, not the border. Or does he mean like the Atlantic and the Pacific?
Killing so many of our people.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's like a parade. They just go down the river. They're in big riverboat gambling boats with a big steam wheel and all that shit, just chucking fentanyl off the sides like they're fucking Mardi Gras beads.
And ruining families. In addition to restoring strong border security, I will deploy all necessary military assets, including the U.S. Navy, to impose.
Yes, we're gonna send the Navy to the middle of Mexico. Rowboats, I guess.
The full naval embargo on the cartels. I did that before, and it worked. What we did.
Yeah, it worked. Don had to fly to Guatemala himself.
It was incredible.
It was so good. It was incredible. It's what happens every time. But
we will guarantee that the waters of the Western Hemisphere are not used to traffic illicit drugs to our country.
By sinking normal shipping containers that might have stuff smuggled in it illegally. You may think you're ordering a massage chair from China that comes in a ship, but we had to sink the whole boat in case anybody there has a marijuana cigarette.
Furthermore, I will order the Department of Defense to make appropriate use of special forces, cyber warfare, and other overt and covert actions.
Nukes, definitely nukes. You don't want to use that word, but you want to use the nukes. So don't say it. We'll call them something else. We'll call them MAGA bombs. And
to inflict maximum
Emperor Roblox. Fucking A. That's absolutely true.
Damage on cartel leadership.
Well done, Diagram 65.
Infrastructure and operations. I will designate the major cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. We will sever their access to global financial.
Which, by the way, the reason you don't do that is because they're not actually terrorist organizations. They use terror sometimes to control their routes and that kind of stuff, but they don't terrorize the general citizenry for political purposes. So if you water down the word terrorism that much, then it doesn't fucking mean anything. And therefore, I don't know, like Somali pirates could just decide that Coca-Cola is a terrorist organization because they don't like the control of water that they have, that they signed a deal with the previous administration of that country, and they could just use UN laws to fucking murder guys delivering Coca-Cola. It'll be great. Yeah, it's a great plan. Well thought out, champ. Keep at it. It's good. So you can tell the depth of understanding is just expanded. It must be all those classified documents he's been perusing.
Financial systems. I will also work to.
Why is he giving a speech? He has no power office. Because it's America and any asshole can just set up a camera and talk. Look at me. I mean, come on. Huh? Yeah. Knock out. Living in America. Station to station.
Forge an unprecedented partnership with neighboring governments in our region, just like I did in Mexico. And
How'd that work out?
Remember, in Mexico alone, an estimated 100,000 civilians have been tragically murdered or gone missing.
Yeah, we don't know which, but we'll just assume they're not coming back. I mean, let's look. We're gonna have to bomb the cartel factories. If these people aren't dead, they were, and they've been kidnapped and forced to work in these factories, they're kind of dead already. So, I mean, what do you want? I mean,
at the hands of these cartels, the Mexican government, run by a very fine man, the president.
Okay, so that's who runs it? The president of what? I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like the president of one of the cartels runs them. mean, is it really? Okay.
is really working hard.
Good for him. That's good to know. So he didn't stop working hard just because you left office. So he's been working with the Biden administration, and they're teaming up. And
But it's not working out.
no, it's not. He's working smart, not hard. And that I don't understand.
These cartels are vicious and they're violent, and they have Mexico for now stymied. Well, we have.
Who, by the way, Stymie, I gotta say, was one of my favorite little rascals. They have Mexico for now stymied. I was thinking this thing really needed like tense music underneath, but once he got to this, I was like, nah, it would have just made it funny.
Have to help Mexico, and we have to stymie the cartels.
Yes, we got to stymie and buckwheat and spanky the cartels. I think we should spanky them. If we can't alfalfa them, what can we do?
Either we will get the full
stymie. He used stymie twice. We have to stymie them. It'll be a rough military stymie. I call it Operation Stymie. Fuck me.
full cooperation of other governments to stop this menace.
And if we can't stop them, at least stymie them. Does anybody know how to say stymie in Portuguese?
Or we will expose every bribe, every kickback, every payoff, and every bit of corruption that is allowing the cartels to preserve their brutal reign. And it is.
Yeah, that's the bribing part isn't the problem. They just murder people, stupid. That's why 100,000 people went missing or kidnapped, and like they bribed you. Yeah, but they also shot my 4-year-old when I said fuck your bribe. Oh. Still took a bribe. No, I didn't. They killed my kid. I don't know. I saw him talking to this guy.
Indeed.
Bomb his house too. Operation Stymie is a go.
Brutal. Finally, as I have said before, I will
because I'm a repetitive dumbass.
ask Congress to pass legislation ensuring that drug smugglers and human traffickers
get quick trial. And if they turn out to be innocent later, we'll refund the cost of the bullet.
receive the death penalty. The drug cartels and their allies in the Biden administration have the blood of countless.
Their allies in the Biden administration. Honest to God, I'm beginning to think somebody told him that like the Biden administration got funded by the cartels or so money, and he's pissed because he didn't get any of that money. Holy shit.
Millions on their hands. Millions and millions.
Millions and millions and every dead person who's ever smoked a PCP-laced reefer in an old Chips episode is Joe Biden's fault.
Of families and people are being destroyed.
Yeah, they just like fentanyl. It's like Pop Rocks and Diet Coke. Yeah, both, and you're just doomed.
When I'm back in the White House,
which is never,
drug kingpins and vicious traffickers will never sleep soundly again.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they got drugs that help. It's like just got a bunch of downers. Just ask for some, I suppose. It's probably a big barrel next to the bed.
We did it once, and we did it better than anybody else. There's never been a better border than we had just 2 years ago.
And then you built the wall and started Title 42 and fucked the whole thing up.
It was strong, it was powerful, and it was respected all over the world. And
yes, say what you will about Trump, but I really admire his slat fence. Yeah, this is definitely.
Now we're laughed at all over the world.
No, just you, dummy.
And we're not going to let that happen.
It's too late. You're already hilarious. You're not going to be president again. That ship has sailed. Fuck you, goodbye.
Much longer.
Well, I guess you'll put up with it for a little while.
We have to take over. We have to be tough. We have to be smart.
We got to walk down there peacefully and patriotically, and I'll walk down there with you. But we're gonna have to fight if we're not gonna have a country. Wait a minute. Is that who put my old speech in the fucking teleprompter? Okay, stop it, Don. Just use the smelling salts. How can you get that gacked up and actually sleep?
We have to be fair.
Yes, we have to be fair. And what's fair is killing people who are selling pot as if they are an enforcer for the Gambino family. That's fair.
But
on a quick trial, by the way, and if they turn out it was just a mistaken identity, we'll refund the funeral costs within, obviously 10% deduction.
if we don't do something immediately,
it's too late. You can't even run for office for 2 years. So if we can't do something immediately, then the ship has sailed. It's all over. You can't do anything immediately. And the House doesn't even have a fucking speaker. So you guys can't even, literally at this speech, if you say immediately, you have to fucking mean immediately, dummy. If we don't do something within, 2 years and change,
our country is gone.
Gone. Dude, that's it. That's the whole thing. Gone. Still trying to make money, by the way. Text Trump to that number, and then your phone will automatically pay him money. Yeah, good times. That's what he's doing while everything else is flailing and failing. Speaking of flailing and failing, let's see if I can find this. One more thing. No, we covered almost everything. 1, 2. Yep, that one. It's good. We covered that one. Got her. Yeah, here it is. I love the title of this one. This is Matt Gaetz went on Fox News. This will be my last one of the night. Because, thanks for hanging in there. It's HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. Bless you. Thank you for being with me. Look at this. Altogether separate. Fox News is just fucking with these people. Gaetz, McCarthy has no ideology. He's a vessel for lobbyists. And that's Matt Gaetz's dream gig. That's what I want to do. That, drug a 17-year-old and fly her to Georgia and force her to fuck me if she wants a flight home. Or I'll just introduce her to some people that'll give her the spooky feeling that she might end up dead in a river. And, yeah. So, he voted for Trump twice, and then he went back to vote. He voted for Hearn last.
But we begin in the nation's capital, where the House adjourned late tonight without...
Right from the swamp. God damn it.
...electing a speaker for a second straight day.
Which in its own way is sort of like electing a speaker. If you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
Kevin Corke is live in D.C. with the very latest. Kevin, good evening.
Evening, Trace. 3 more failed votes today, and...
Well, I don't think they're failed votes. It's like Edison. We just found 3 more ways not to elect a speaker.
A round of closed-door talks to boot, and yet still...
Yes. Thank God there's some closed-door talks going on, because this is the transparency the Freedom Caucus is looking for.
Well, Congressman-elect Kevin McCarthy appears no closer to securing the House Speaker...
Oh, that's a good reminder that even Kevin McCarthy hasn't been sworn in.
Speakership. Of course, that is Speaker of the House, for those of you who haven't been watching.
The what? I'm sorry. Did anybody...
The battle does continue tomorrow at 12 noon, though he did...
Battle. It's not a battle. It's a tiff. A long-running tiff that results in someone in a very possibly a shallow grave.
Quip tonight. I think this is interesting. I crawl before I walk, before I run. A bit of optimism, perhaps, for Kevin McCarthy. We'll see if that is warranted. In all...
No, it actually wasn't.
All the defiant Californian...
Try again. McCarthy's still aiming for Speaker after 6...
Has now fallen...
12 now.
Short in 6, count of 6...
12
votes over 2 days as a group of 20 conservatives.
12 over 3.
Who have deemed him ideologically unreliable, let's say, have refused to back him, leaving him...
I think we just hit the 11. They were going for the 12 and then they adjourned, right? I think that's...
short of the 218 votes needed to win the job.
Are you considering dropping out of being?
No, not at all.
Are you angry at the people who have caused this situation?
Not at all.
No. I'm not mad at anybody, and I'm not dropping out. I'm not moving, and they're not moving. So we're just going to keep doing this until somebody else comes up with some way for me to get out or them to get out. And since no one gives a shit, and the Democrats won't help me, they won't help me. Why won't they help me? Help myself. I'm trying to. I sent them pizza. Sure, it was cold.
I think it's productive.
We can't have a situation where 20 members hold 202 members.
too late.
Hostage and our agenda hostage. We were elected as well. And this is turning into a blackmail situation.
Yeah, it's been that way, and it's going to stay that way.
Meanwhile, recalcitrant GOP insurgents say it's McCarthy who needs to step aside.
Even having my favorite president call us and tell us we need to knock this off, I think it actually needs to be reversed. The president needs to tell Kevin McCarthy that, sir, you do not have the votes, and it's...
By the way, look at Kat McCack or whatever she named, Kat Kamarack or whatever, who was like the one who was accusing Dems of drinking on the floor, staring at her, giving her the skinny bitch.
Time to withdraw.
Speaking of former President Trump, he said this in a statement: I think it's a dangerous game, and frankly, if they're not happy with him, they can do something about it at a later date.
No, they can't if he doesn't give them the ability to kick him to the curb.
He added this: I support Kevin McCarthy, and I support getting the deal done. What I don't support is allowing this to continue onward.
Yeah, you don't have a say, dummy. By the way, nice nunt. Ugh.
And while the battle, as mentioned, rages on tomorrow, it is also important to note that as long as this all continues, committees can't hire staff because there are no committee chairs and no ranking members, which has led some Democrats to call this a crisis of the Congress. Others, frankly, Trace, feel like this is all good stuff. It's just...
It's all good. It's all good.
Battle, as it should be, here in the nation's capital.
Yeah, I hear both sides. Kevin Corke, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring in Florida Republican Congressman-elect Matt Gaetz. Congressman.
And big boy spokesperson.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, no problem. There's nobody that I can, it's a school night, so I wasn't busy.
Kevin McCarthy tonight did not want to hold a vote in the House because he believes he might be getting closer. Do you think that's a fair assessment?
Well, there's a reason Kevin McCarthy doesn't want to continue having votes, and it's because with each vote, he seems to be decreasing in his vote share, and we've only increased with votes in our vote share in opposition to Kevin McCarthy. We suspect that that trend is likely to continue, and I think this ends one of two ways, Trace. Either Kevin bows out, realizing there's no path for him to become Speaker of the House.
And they have the same fight over someone else.
Even if he picks up...
Because they will.
1 or 2 or 3 or 5 of the 20 who have opposed him half dozen times on the floor, or he essentially has to wake up, bring the House into session, and put on a straitjacket with a rules package that we've presented to him that doesn't allow a lot of discretion for the Speaker of the House. The reason we've...
Wow. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't sign on to that. This motherfucker wants to put you in a straitjacket and basically limit what you can do as Speaker. That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know why he keeps saying no.
Demanded that is that we do not trust Kevin McCarthy.
And he doesn't trust you.
And it's not a small body of work. The guy's been in leadership in Washington, D.C. for 14 years.
And you guys engaged in a fucking insurrection 2 years ago and are completely untrustworthy and have no serious interest in governing.
And this town needs to change, and we're going to change it one way or the other, either by changing out the Speaker,
or leaving,
or by having the most fundamental rewrite of the rules in really my lifetime.
There seems to be a lot of confusion, though, about exactly what this group of 20 wants. You say rules changes. A lot of people have said a lot of different things. Is there something specific, Congressman, that you want that would gain...
Yeah, but bringing back 16-year-old pages in Catholic schoolgirl outfits was a non-starter, so I just didn't think I'd bring it up.
Your vote to Kevin McCarthy if that thing was fulfilled?
Well, I'm not voting for Kevin McCarthy, but there are some of the 20 who I suspect might if we got control of the Rules Committee and the Appropriations Committee in the hands of...
By the way, keep in mind, he and Boebert and Gosar and who else? Perry and one other are negotiating that they would, if they got everything they wanted, they're still not going to vote for him. Because he'll be able to, I guess, call for a vote anyways. And if any one of them were sick or away or unavailable, he could do an end run around it. he could call something to the floor where he only need, regular order and just only needs like a few votes to pass something on, change the rules instantly. They don't trust him not to do it, and I wouldn't know why he wouldn't insist on doing it as soon as they left the fucking building.
The folks that don't vote for bad rules and bad appropriations bills. Remember, before this last omnibus, Kevin McCarthy was paving the way for some of the worst legislation driving.
Somebody just yell "fuck off, Matt" in the background.
Our country, these folks. Well, I'm not voting for Kevin McCarthy, but there are some of the 20 who I suspect might if we got control of the Rules Committee and the Appropriations Committee in the hands of folks that don't vote for bad rules and bad appropriations bills. Remember, before this last omnibus, Kevin McCarthy was paving the way for some of the worst legislation, driving our country deeper into debt and borrowing against the futures of the next generation. And so if we got control...
Yeah, which during the Trump years raised the national debt $7 trillion.
Of those key committees in the hands of
Biden lowers the deficit 2 years in a row.
Conservatives, I think there are some of the 20 who might vote for Kevin McCarthy. If things stand as they are, I would suspect that the opposition will only grow.
Yeah, you've got people like former Congressman Trey Gowdy, who said he called this opposition a clown show on national television. The former Speaker.
And he likes that.
Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, has said that you are holding the House hostage. What is your response?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. It's not that I'm holding it hostage. It's that I've gotten it out of state and away from its parents, and it's on drugs and it's in a hotel room, and I've cut all the phone cords. It's more like that.
Response to that type of criticism.
Well, Trey Gowdy would know something about.
By the way, I keep anytime I talk like Matt Gaetz, I gross myself out.
Clown shows. That's probably how a lot of us would categorize the Benghazi hearings that resulted in people screaming at each other in a big report, but no real accountability. I remember the Trey Gowdy who went on your network as a congressman and said that he'd reviewed what had gone on with the FBI and the Department of Justice, and that they had done nothing wrong, and that actually the American people would be happy of what they were looking at with President Trump. We now, of course, know that to be false, and even Trey Gowdy has expressed regret about that. So I don't exactly take a lot of armchair.
Again, there will not be enough popcorn for 2023.
Quarterbacking from someone who, during his time in Congress, wasn't among the fighters.
Yes, Trey Gowdy, not a fighter. Put him in the not a fighter category.
Representative.
But looks like a villain from Harry Potter category. He also fits in, so I don't know.
Elect Mike Lawler said the following. Listen, and I'll get your response.
The people who are voting against Kevin McCarthy in the Republican conference are aiding Joe Biden, aiding Hakeem Jeffries, and aiding Chuck Schumer.
Ouch. And they're a bunch of weak-kneed bitches.
How can you come together and...
With somebody who talks like that. Did you hear what he said about you? How do you side with a person like that? Right? I mean, I was just not sound. Don't ask. I mean, it's not for me to say, but it just doesn't sound like something a friend would say about another friend. I mean, you said it wasn't personal. It sounds kind of personal. I'm just, how do you ever work with a person like that ever again?
Do what you promised the American people you would do as Republicans after this kind of chaotic House speakership vote?
Well, I think the world of Mike Lawler. He's a terrific representative, and he's going to do a great job for the people of New York. But I wouldn't exactly call this like insurmountable chaos. Keep in mind, Trace, I mean, I
do chaos for a living.
Days in the United States Congress where the only vote that happens is to rename one post office.
Right. And Chip Roy wants every senator or every House representative to have to be in the building to do a fucking voice vote on all of those bills. That's what he wants. That's one of his big holdouts. That everybody has to be there for all those fucking votes. So basically that means nobody goes home. Ever. The whole year. They don't go see constituents. They don't work in their districts. They just stay in D.C. year-round. Now, why would you want to stay in D.C. year-round if you, A, fucking hate the place and think it's a toxic environment and yada yada, and everything you do is useless and it's a waste of taxpayer funds? I'll tell you one reason. K Street. So you don't have to, go home and yammer with your fucking annoying constituents who want shit. You could just fucking wine and dine with the lobbyists.
So if we could do that for a day, if there are days where all we vote on are how we are going to take the next vote, then maybe taking 2 or 3 days or several weeks to select the person who is second in line to the presidency is worth our debate,
third,
and deliberation. And after that,
the line starts at the president.
Absolutely, we will come together. I have every confidence that we'll be able to come together and we'll actually be an effective fighting force.
No, you won't. No. You guys got really personal and there's a lot of like traitor, fuck you, traitor shit going on. And there might be some glad handing, but it's personal. Yeah. MTG is gone and she's never coming back. And she knows how to make a pipe bomb, allegedly. Allegedly. I know she knows how to pretend to fire a high-powered rifle. I've seen her pretend to do that.
If we're able to get
if I were you, I would not get into a Prius anytime soon.
Get rid of Kevin McCarthy and get somebody like a Jim Jordan, a Byron Donalds in that.
The other people who can't get to 218.
Speaker's chair.
Or don't want the job at all.
And what do you say to those who say, why is this group of 20 so convinced that they should be listened to and that they should control the narrative and the process when 202 other GOP House members believe in a totally different way?
Because we're awesome and they're the mayor of Sucktown.
Well, Trace, I have to correct you there. It's only 201 now. You're referencing an earlier vote for Kevin McCarthy, but actually Congresswoman Victoria Sparks voted present. So again, his number continues to drop, may end up under 200 tomorrow. We're not trying to dictate terms. We represent our constituents.
No, they're specifically trying to dictate terms. None of their constituents sent them to Washington to change the rules committee or get on a committee ahead of other people.
Look, part of the groupthink of Washington, D.C. is you come here and you've just got to give the lobbyists your vote card and the leadership your calendar and everything will be okay. Kevin McCarthy has no ideology.
And you have no committee.
Even his own supporters would admit that in private. He is simply a vessel through which lobbyists and special interests operate. So,
yeah, he'll be able to work across the aisle. Yeah. There's definitely, there's a bridge to be made with all the people who voted for him repeatedly and you. Sure. Like, you're one of the guys, you voted for McCarthy, right? That vessel for lobbyist interests or whatever. So you're one of them, are you? Yeah.
It's not that we're not being team players, it's just that.
It's just that we're not on that team. We're on a smaller team. We're just just enough of us to blow the whole thing up.
My team are the people in Florida who sent me here to fight for them. My team is not the assembly of groupthink that occurs inside the swamp. We got to drain this swamp. We shouldn't put one of the alligators in charge.
He said that like he thinks that's a slam. He said that a bunch of times. Even mailed it out in a fundraiser. Excuse me. That is incredibly fucking stupid. Because, I don't care about Kevin McCarthy. I couldn't give two shits. But he raised like $250 million to get assholes like him elected. Like, he did all the stuff to twist arms and raise funds and spread the money around so that they could get elected. If he's one of the alligators, you fucking need him.
And the voting begins again tomorrow at noon?
No. The session begins at noon. That doesn't mean the voting begins, because as soon as they get there, there's going to be 4 missing members. All of them are going to be McCarthy votes. Somebody's going to vote to adjourn, and presumably they're all 4 McCarthy votes. There's going to be a motion to adjourn, and the Democrats will have an easier time whipping no votes for that, and McCarthy will lose 4 votes. But those votes won't move anywhere else.
Congressman, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Yes, since you've got so much of it to give doing nothing. Fucking hell. You've been watching HAL Sparks Mega Worldwide. As we go through all this stuff, I do want to say, and I'm going to bring up the chat because I love you guys. Hi, guys. Hi. Yeah, it's a game of laziness, totally. Friday, they only want to work till 1, no question. These folks they're against the insurrectionist crowd has no interest in functioning government. And they believe that their main constituents, their base within the base, within an even smaller base in their area, which was their like primary guarantee voters in what's a solid red state, by the way. And this is the problem with deep red or deep blue seats, is that unless you make an effort to recognize what's going on outside of your district nationally for your party, you're gonna be high on your own fucking supply. And you're going to think that you know, this entrenched, loyal, psychotic base is reflected in the rest of the country. And it just fucking ain't. It's not. So, cheers, Gail. Thank you. But again, they believe this. They believe they're just, you know, their audience of one is their MAGA constituents because they all want to be the next Trump. And to do that, they just got to be dug in assholes. They've got to be dug in. Jesse Ventura for speaker. I could do that. I was the governor of Minnesota as an independent. I could pull it off if you asked me to. We saw Gates' interview on TYT. Yeah, well, that's interestingly enough, TYT and that ilk, that crowd. And by the way, Jimmy Dore was bragging about that he thinks this is what the squad should have done, which, by the way, is not amounting to the Freedom Caucasians getting what they want. It's not. They're not going to get those rules changes. That's the game of chicken, and they're going to fucking lose. And so he's wrong and whatever. But there's this belief of that if we can't get everything, nobody gets anything. And that has been the TYT, you know, legislative theory for a long fucking time. And it's 100% where Jimmy Dore pretends to be. Although I think he's a disingenuous bullshit artist. But where he alleges to be from is that theory. They both serve in this thing. And by the way, the whole thing about, like, you know, TYT allegedly being on the side of Democrats or telling people to vote for Hillary in the last few weeks, it's the same problem that you're seeing with the hardliners in the Republican Party. Because when you talk that ill about your members of your own party or members of your own side that you consider evil, and you describe them as such long enough where you get entrenched, you can never dial back from that. You can never pull back. Because if you do, your own followers turn on you. Your own followers think you're full of shit and you've been lying to them this whole time. So that's why the whole comedy element of, you know, my colleague from across the aisle, it's why they have to talk like that. And it's why the rules are that you have to address the presiding officer or the president of the Senate, because instead of talking shit about people over there, because eventually you might have to work with them. And if you go across that line, there ain't no coming back. This is the really real world. And that's a huge issue with where they are right now. It really is. This is a huge issue with the Republicans currently. Because words have been said in this shit that we've been watching, and you guys have seen it, that it's just, they cross the line and they're never going to trust each other again. It's personal. They don't give a fuck. And yeah, they're done. They're fucking done. Boebert and MTG were never really friends. Were really never really on each other's side, but they had that illusion that they did. Now that ship has fucking sailed, and it's war over there. And I got to be completely honest, I don't care. This is what the dissolution. This is, you know, it's sort of like caring what happens to the Chinese people, but not giving a fuck what happens to the CCP, or caring what happens to the Russian people, but knowing that, like, Putin's got to go, and that whole crowd that runs the place is not going to come to a good end, right? Same thing's kind of true. Like, the Republicans, you know, I can care about them even though I disagree, But like if this is what MAGA looks like burning down, then that's how it's got to be. What did you think the collapse of the Republican Party was going to look like? Wasn't going to happen in one moment. All right, we'll see if Chip's around. You want to? Okay, fine. You want a cat? You want a cat? Is that how it's going to be? You want a cat before I leave? Fine, I'll be right back. He was asleep. You okay, buddy? He's like, I was sleeping. And you really had to do that? You really had to pick me up? You really had to? Really? Really? Hi, buddy. How's your boy? How's my boy? He's my boy. He's a boy. Yeah. Yeah. Did you have a snack before? You got a little bit of a snack. He's so sleepy. He was so sleepy. You're a good boy? Yeah, he's a good boy. Oh, God. Cat breath. Oh, it's terrible. It's so terrible. Cat breath. Well, from Chip and our family to all of yours, happy third night of fucking Republican meltdown hell. And I'll see you guys tomorrow in the morning. And my show will start right as they come into session. So part of it will be whatever the fuck starts to happen, if at all. And I don't think anything. And we'll see if Chip wants to visit. Or I don't know how we even proceed with this stupid stalemate. I will say that I'm counting on Republicans. You see, everybody's saying Chip in the chat room. You can see it. He's like watching the chat go up. That's him. Yeah, they're saying, hi, Chip. They're saying, hi, buddy. They're saying you're a good boy. They're saying you're a handsome man. That's what they're saying. The nice thing is, the Republicans are just going to be printing comedy for us the next few days. Even if they ditch out tomorrow, they'll race to a microphone and defend themselves. They're not going into fucking real conference. You don't think they're actually going to work this shit out, do you? That's adorable. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you guys for joining me. Chip loves you. And he's a big belly. He's a big boy. And he needs to go back to sleep. He's a sleepy boy. He's clinging to my hands. He's like, yeah, it's a good belly rub. It's a good belly rub. He's very warm and squishy. Okay, love you guys. See you tomorrow.
love you guys.